Hammond City Council Public Hearing Agenda, January the 27th, 2026, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Divatario.
Here.
Councilwoman Gonzalez. Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Wells.
Old business number 1.
An ordinance to approve a request by Mary Levine to annex 21.77 and 18 acres of Magazine Street into the city's corporate limits. The property is to be zoned RS-3 and located in District 1. Planning and Zoning Commission hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 4-0. Charles Barsher.
To ask our city planner, Frankie, to come up and talk about this one, and I think we have a representative here as well.
This is a request by Mr. Warren and his company to bring the property into the city. And it's located on Magazine Street, beside the current property line, and it's 2 parcels of land, and then between that subdivision. So
Okay.
we'll be working with them because we know there's a numbered lateral that goes through there.
And you want to state what the zoning request is? Would you state what the zoning request is?
Yes, is R3 the same as what's in the city that butts up against the city?
Okay. All right. Anyone from the public on this item? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Frankie. All right. New business number 1.
An ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Vince Rubik to rezone 206 Tower Drive from I-L to C-8 to expand on the allowed uses for the property. The property is located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Ms. Frankie?
Yes. Mr., and I can't pronounce the word either. Give me an Italian or American word.
Rubik.
At any rate, he owns properties on both sides, and he wants to rezone this to CH. We discussed it with him because the other adjacent property that he owns there is CH, both across there and to the ones you see with CH on it, on each side of Tower Drive. So that way he'll have more things available to him, uses that he can do.
Okay.
So, and staff recommends approval. So did the Planning Commission.
All right. Anyone else from the public on this item? New business number 2.
An ordinance to approve a revocation of city right-of-way by Sergio Mesa, east of 711 East Morris Avenue, for future subdivision of the property. The property is located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Ms. Frankie?
Yes, the subdivision, what he wants to revocate is to the east part of that property. And as you can see, it is not being used, and it has buildings in back of it, so it's unlikely that a road or anything would extend through there. So he would like to annex it onto the property that he has, that he owns.
Okay. Anyone from the public on this item? New business number 3.
An ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Joe Lombardo to rezone 800, 801, 803, 807, and 809 South Oak Street from RS-3 and RM-2 to C-N to match the east side of 800 South Oak Street for an expansion of their behavioral health center. The property is located in District 2. Applicant is proposing to add outpatient services and an additional 24 more beds to the proposed new facility. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Frankie?
Yes. We had indicated to Mr. Lombardo, that there is a numbered lateral that comes across the north part of the property, and then, as you can see, where it goes down into that third property that he wants to have as part of his thing. So I spoke with Kylie Bates, and Kylie asked me to get him to contact him because he's concerned because the numbered lateral increases in width. He did have with the first one, with this first property that's there, that's CN, he did have a reduction in the 100-foot to 50 feet, but he still has to apply for that additional property that he intends to thing. And we have not, I don't know whether he's contacted him between yesterday. Yesterday was the last time I talked to and I think one of you or one of his, do you know whether he's contacted them or not? Okay. So we'll ask you to table that.
Yeah, I think the administration would suggest tabling this until we can get that clarification with the drainage district to make sure that, everything is approved to proceed forward.
Find out
with-
where we stand and how
Exactly.
much property he will have, how much of a reduction he might have.
Okay. All right. New business number 4.
An ordinance, to approve a revocation of city right-of-way by Joe Lombardo, west of 800 South Oak Street, Block 8 and 9 of the Barber Addition, to be zoned C-N for an expansion of their behavioral health center. Property is located in District 2. Applicant is proposing to add outpatient services and an additional 24 beds to the proposed new facility. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0.
This is the same property that we just discussed, and so we're asking again to table this along with the other one.
Okay. New business number 5.
An ordinance to approve a major subdivision by Chad Stevens at 610 Hewitt Road, located in District 3. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Frankie?
Yes, this applicant has been working with us for quite a while and has redesigned the subdivision with our request, that is to have 2 entrances, one off of each road, and to limit the number of houses that were going to be off of Hewitt Road so that there were not too many backing out there. So we recommend approval of it.
Anyone from the public on this item? Yeah, come step to the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Step to the mic, please. Give us your name and city.
Chad Stevens, MR Engineering, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, here representing the developer tonight, Mr. Kyle Bratton. Is this the time the applicant speaks in addition to the public hearing, or?
Yes.
Okay. So as Ms. Frankie said, yes, we have been working at this layout for multiple months. Mr. Bratton worked with the Planning Commission staff and the Planning Commissioners themselves, and also some coordination with Mr. Wells to come up with the layout that we have now, which does have 2 points of access, one to Phoenix Square and one to Hewitt, and then also a third access to vacant property to the east, which also aligns with the required ordinance. So the plat that you see here meets all the requirements of the ordinance. The ordinance only does require one access when it's under 60 lots, and this is 59 lots. So the second access was above and beyond what the ordinance requires. We completed a drainage study that was submitted to the Planning Commission staff and was reviewed by Spangler Engineering and found to be in compliance with the drainage ordinance. We also provided a traffic statement that indicated 63 peak hour trips, which is below the threshold that's in your ordinance requiring a traffic study, so no traffic study was required. Spangler also confirmed in writing that the sewer system does have capacity. That was a specific request of Councilman Wells, and that was provided. Spangler did an analysis of the sewer to confirm that. As Ms. Frankie said, we did deepen the lots on Phoenix Square to 132 feet so that the driveways could have turnarounds so that nobody would have to back into Phoenix Square. from their house. The layout, again, does meet the minimum requirements for green space, which is also part of your ordinance. And as I spoke to earlier, again, this was an effort that was Mr. Bratton and the Planning Commission staff and members and Councilman Wells to come to the point that we are here today. So once again, this meets all the requirements of your ordinance, and we are asking for your approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Step to the mic, name and city, please.
My name is Brenda Longino, and I live in Hammond, Louisiana, off Hewitt Road, 702. I have a lot of concerns about this major subdivision coming off Hewitt Road into Phoenix Square. The property coming off Phoenix Road is this big, whereas the property coming off Phoenix Square is this big. So I'm concerned about the drive coming off Hewitt Road, because Hewitt Road is already overflowing with traffic. I live on Hewitt Road, so I know about the traffic. I can barely bag out of my driveway, let alone pull up and bag into my driveway. It's a problem. It's a problem with everybody. It's a problem with the traffic and the speed coming up and down Hewitt Road. Hewitt Road is overflowing. It is overflowing. I understand about the subdivision, I really do, but why putting so much emphasis on Hewitt Road when Hewitt Road is not going to have the housings on it? Phoenix is going to have the housings on it, because that's where Beacon Light were intending it on located until they sold. So the property is really off Phoenix. It's not off Hewitt. A little piece is off Hewitt, but not the majority of it. It's off Phoenix. And yes, I am concerned about that. And I also have another concern. When they build all these subdivisions back off Phoenix, are they going to put a fence up to separate the housings? Because my backyard is facing the housings that will be built there. And I just want to know what they're going to do with that. That's my concern.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Megan Frady Bordelon. I live in Hammond also. I'm on Hewitt Road as well. I was actually here to speak on something different today, and that was the removal of sewer caps on our water bills, but I'm glad I'm here for this as well. I've been a resident of Hewitt Road since September of 2014, and I have asked Hammond PD countless times, please monitor the speed. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. People are flying down that road all hours of the day and night. I actually was outside on April 15th, 2019, when a little boy got hit in front of my house. His name was Cyrus Pennington. He required 8 surgeries because the driver didn't take much corrective action to stop. And even still, since then, many years later, the patrol is not there to monitor the speeders. Hewitt can't handle more traffic on there. It's already a problem getting out of our house every day. So that's what I have to say about the new neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Barbara Miller, and I live on Hewitt Road myself. And I have a daughter with special needs, and I am concerned about the traffic and how much traffic was going to be on that road. You know, we do have businesses down on the east side of Hewitt where I live, and I think that with all these houses, I just want to know how many houses is going to be coming off, families going to be coming off Hewitt Road into the houses, because, like I said, that's going to be a lot of crime. You know, I'm afraid about the crime on our area. And we, on that street, we don't have major problems. And I'm thinking about the major problem we may have on Hewitt. So if he can tell us about how many houses going to be facing Hewitt, And like Miss Brenda said, most of the houses should be coming off Phoenix Square instead of Hewitt Road. So I'd like for y'all to take in consideration that we right now on Hewitt are not having a major problem, but we will be having a major problem. We do have traffic problem, but major problem with crime, we don't have.
Am I reading that right, that there are actually no houses on Hewitt?
Correct.
Okay, so really, and a couple people have spoken to this, it seems that most of this is on Phoenix Square. That's where you have houses and you've allotted for extra space for turnaround so people aren't backing out, but you don't have a single house on Hewitt.
No, ma'am.
You do have an access point, but not,
Yes, ma'am. We have an access point to it. The property there that comes out to Hewitt is narrow, and it's just wide enough for a right-of-way, and there's a little bit of left over there, but that's, just a little green space. So, yes, I mean, the subdivision goes the majority to Phoenix Square. Again, the ordinance only requires one access. Staff, Planning Commission requested a second. We complied with that request. So the two accesses were a result of coordination with the staff and the Planning Commission.
For clarification, he's saying that most of the traffic is gonna come off Phoenix Square.
the houses, you see the top of the map up here? That's Phoenix Square. You see the two blue spots down at the bottom of the map with the road that looks like in between it? When you get to the road at the very bottom, that's Hewitt. So you actually don't have any houses in this subdivision touching Hewitt. They're up there at the top. I mean, they're all in between, but the ones that border the street are actually Phoenix Square, not Hewitt, according to this plan.
I'm just finding out about this. I'm born and raised in Hammond.
Could you give me your name?
My name is Trevor Carter, and I live on the corner of Phoenix and Spruce. My biggest concern, which we already have since they built those homes on the other end of Phoenix, the traffic that comes through there. I have a stop sign by my house. It's just like it's not even there already. And so more rental property or whatever, I'm not even understanding what all is going on, because I just found out I got a letter this past week. And my biggest concern, we already have an overflow of traffic. I'm always having to take the dollar store buggies. I mean, I work all day. My husband work all day. We come home with these buggies, people walking up and down the streets all day long. It's disgusting. And so I guess for me is wanting to know, how does that affect my neighborhood? I've been over there for 40 years. And the kind of stuff that's going on, we hadn't had all those kind of issues till recently. And we got the stop sign put up. The police usually come sit out over there trying to monitor it some. I haven't seen them over there in a while. But you can stand out there every day and watch people fly through that stop sign. All day. And they have kids. And the traffic, strangers walking up and down that road already all day. Dollar store buggies, trash out the window. I just need to know what kind of impact it's going to have on me, my family, my neighborhood. We got all these subdivisions keep coming up over there. And I've spoke to Mr. Wells several times already. Look at my street. Grass coming up in the middle of the street. I've been trying to get this fixed for years. No resolve. The road is cracked. It needs to be repaved. The city comes sit out there all the time when they're working. They might not work on this road, but they park their cars back there. They eat their lunch back there. I'm on the dead end, and it leads to the property that you guys talking about, which is disgusting. My road needs to be repaired. I've asked over and over and over again. I'm a taxpayer. I've been working since I was 15, and so have my husband of almost 45 years. And this is how my street look.
Mr. Carter, what street is that? What street is that?
Spruce?
Spruce?
Yes, on the dead end side.
Okay.
So they came a few years back and went all the way to Z-Mary but not my side. This is how my side looks. And I'm a taxpayer. My husband is a taxpayer. I think we deserve better than this. I don't know what you guys think, but we deserve better than this. That we have green, moldy grass coming up in my road. What's a dead end?
Excuse me, Miss Trouble. Look, what day did you receive that letter on? That's one of the concerns that I have.
I got it last Monday, a week ago.
Okay, and this is what I want to talk about. Andre, help me out. Shouldn't she receive this letter when it first come about, or what? Explain this to us.
Well, Frankie might do a better job explaining than I do. I don't have the UDC in front of me. There are notice requirements to adjoining owners, and I presume those letters went out. You got one. I can't specifically tell you what the time limit is to send out the notices.
Okay, Miss Frankie, could you explain it? She just not receiving a letter, and
No, about the,
The proposed subdivision. When do people get notices about proposed planning and zoning things, the adjoining neighborhoods?
For this?
Yes.
This is what they're proposing to do.
When did you send the letters out? When did you send the letters out?
Can I answer a question, respond? Oh.
Go ahead, Ms.
So,
They're sent out usually before the planning commission meeting and before this meeting. So they should have gotten 2 letters, and it goes to adjacent property owners. It's saying if they're not an adjacent property owner, they wouldn't, but the property owners are
can I talk? Yeah. Okay, so what happens is, say, for example, last meeting, the item was introduced. So when the item get introduced, I go back and then I create this letter, the same letter you send out. The difference is it's a public hearing for city council. So that's why it looked like it's a last-minute letter, but it can't, once you introduce it and say, you know, we're going to talk about it, then I send a letter out, I post signs in the neighborhood or wherever the area is, and that's roughly between 7 to 10 days, depending on the length of time between meetings. So that's why they just,
also put signs in the neighborhood before the planning commission meeting, and, I mean, they were putting them out today for the one that's next week.
right. And so I take down their signs when they're up, and I put up the new signs for the meeting tonight.
We also advertise in the newspaper. It's put in the newspaper.
okay, this is the problem that I'm having. This letter should have been sent out when planning and zoning was meeting. This the last meeting, and she just happened to be exercised and pass by and look at them 2x2 signs, which I've been complaining about them.
other end.
Andre and I, we talked about it that
On the other end.
you all got permission to do a 4x4 sign, and I keep telling you, see how this stuff come back and bite you? When I tell you stuff, I tell you for a reason. She just happened to be exercised, and that's the only way she saw that sign. And this the issue that we're having. We're not doing everything the correct way, and we have to do it the correct way. And so now it goes, she could have came to the planning and zoning meeting to see what was going on. And so now it's like this the last meeting, and here she just not telling me about this letter, what, 2-3 days ago? She just telling me about it. And what I'm saying is that's why you never get no feedback, because nobody is noticed, nobody get a notice of what's going on. So this the problem that we're having. I went through the neighborhood yesterday, and I rode through there today, and not only her, I think about 3 or 4 more people got the same letter from Miss Lisa. And it ain't what Miss Lisa did, it's what planning and zoning didn't do. So that's the issue that we have. That's one of the issues. The sign is another issue. What, next Thursday, we got another meeting, planning and zoning. two major subdivisions. These little signs is not getting it. And I keep saying this, Mr. Mayor, y'all done heard me say this several times. Charles, you done heard me say it several times. I'd have been in 3 meetings with you, Charles, about the signs. And I reached out to Mr. Andre, and he told me that the signs, you can use the bigger signs. It's already been voted on and everything. So we can't keep having these little issues. And I tell everybody that whatever take place, I'm going with the voters. If the voters say they want this, they want it. If the voters say they don't want it, they don't want it. I'm going with the majority because people come to the area and they gone. These the people that I see every day. And I'm one that I know I'm always do what the people put me in office to do. And so the street, I mean, just, we can go on and on. Ms. Trouble can stay up here all night to talk about just the issue that she having that she shouldn't be having. So those are problems that we're having. I talked to several homeowners. None of them never received a letter. You
My
know,
biggest concern, this is four subdivisions in one section. That's 4 subdivisions with over the last few years that's coming up in one area. And last out, it was supposed to be a church there. Now all of a sudden there's homes there. And like, it's too much, like. And again, even with my road, this has been going on since last year. My husband reached out to the street department. They had him to go measure the road.
now who do that?
He went and measured the road and sent it in. That was September the 5th, I think.
Yeah.
Nothing still not done. I get a water bill, $300 and something. Nobody home but me and my husband, daughter at LSU. I'm told that that's correct. Like, how I get a $40 water bill one month, a $300 and something water bill the next month, and then a $40-something water bill the following month. I just feel like I'm coming at me at every end. And I paid it because I didn't want my water cut off. So we disputed. I found somebody, had somebody to come see is it a leak somewhere. No leak, nowhere, inside out. I come back up to the city, my husband come. They say they'll give us a credit. A credit? You don't credit me on that kind of money. I gave you cash, I want my cash back. They told me 2 to 3 weeks, it's been almost a month. I haven't gotten my money.
Yeah, Ms. Trouble, right now, I think she ahead right now, huh, Charles? On the water bill?
A little ahead right now.
Yeah, hold up on that water bill, Ms. Trouble. But don't go nowhere, though.
Anything else for me?
You good right now. Thank you.
I'd just like to make a point if possible. Ms. Frankie indicated that notifications were sent out. The first planning commission meeting, there were residents here who indicated that they got notices. So the notices did go out for the planning commission. They don't go out for subsequent planning commissions when there's deferrals. So the first planning commission was advertised properly, unless Ms. Frankie has any other information to dispute that, but it was notified as far as I know.
Well, let me ask you, since you're standing up there for Ms. Frankie, how many letters was noticed? How many letters were mailed out?
I don't send the notices, but people were here that said they got notices.
No, I'm just saying, you sit there and said that, but I'm saying how many was sent out? I'm just asking a
Ms.
question.
Frankie would have to say that because I don't have to send, I'm not required to send the notices.
I know you're
Planning
not.
commission staff is.
But I'm saying, but you're speaking on behalf of Ms. Frankie, so that's why I'm asking the question, sir.
Because Ms. Frankie said just a few minutes ago that the notices were sent before the planning commission, and at the meeting I was here, and residents spoke and said they got notices. So people got notices before the planning commission meeting. The number and those kind of things, I don't know because I don't send them.
We keep a list of all the addresses, names and addresses. I don't have it tonight with me, but we do keep a list of every one of the letters that went out.
And the letters only go out to adjacent
Adjacent
property owners?
That is correct. You know, that is the way a lot of ordinances say. Some of them give a distance, but most of the time that's when you're in a county or a parish where the lots are much bigger usually.
Miss Lisa, is that where you get your list?
Yes, so what happens, this is the process that we have. When they have their meeting, once they're done and whatever they're going to introduce, it comes to me. So say it's on a Thursday, by Monday or Tuesday, I get the whole packet, the introduction packet like that, as well as any letters along with addresses. I take the same letters that they sent out and I tweak them to let people know who got those letters for that meeting that there's a public hearing at this meeting, which would be, whatever the date is. And so whatever addresses they use, that's what I use. And the letters usually always, tonight is Tuesday. So they usually will go out, just like, for example, I'm already working on the ones that's getting introduced tonight. If it gets, approved to go on the next meeting, they'll be ready to go out on Thursday or Friday. I don't know how we can send them out earlier than that. They'll go out on Thursday and Friday. You don't really have any control of the post office, but that's usually the process. So I get it from them, and then I send out a letter to tell them that we have this public hearing tonight.
Thank you.
Hammond, I too am concerned, as Trevor has already spoken, a lot of subdivisions in one area. They said a study was done with the sewer. We're still having sewer problems, but traffic is supposed to be coming out on Phoenix Square. That's where the traffic is mainly going to be coming out? Because we have an overflow of traffic already on Phoenix.
Again,
And that's a lot, let me finish, please.
No, I was going to answer your question.
Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of subdivisions that she already spoke of, and the sewer issues. It's just a lot of clutter that's going to be going on right there. It's going to take the homeowners that have homes off of Phoenix Square. Sound like Hewitt is okay, because they're not going to have a major coming out area on Hewitt. But I'm concerned with them also as well, but that's a lot of traffic for Phoenix Square already.
And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you looked back at me and I thought you were asking a question, so I apologize for that. Putting two access will split the traffic. I mean, obviously, if you have two accesses, with 63 peak hour trips, that's one trip per minute essentially. So those are going to split between the two accesses. You'll get, half and half each way. So you'll end up with one trip every 2 minutes on each of the roads essentially is what the traffic study would tell you if you did a study. But again, there's no traffic study required for this number of trips. And again, this is for emergency services. If emergency services have to get to the lot that's closest to Hewitt and they have to come through Phoenix Square, that's an extra 30 seconds. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. But, two access points in the code is specifically generally for emergency services. Again, we had one access to start. We were requested to put two, so that's what we did. We complied with that. I don't know if the developer is tied to two accesses or if he can just deal with one on Phoenix Square, but again, that was a request of of the staff, so that's what we did.
I work. I don't sit home and wait for a check to come to my mailbox. I work. I can't make every meeting because I work. I have to be on my job when they tell me to be on my job. But if I have to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, I still got to back out my drive, but I got to sit there until the traffic decides it want to slack up. All this traffic comes from 3 different housing. We have the Waters, we have the apartments by the fire station, and we have the apartments by Aberson. There's 3. And we is housing that traffic. It's like a highway through there now. When I moved on Hewitt 10 years ago, you could count the cars on one hand who would come down through there. Now we got a highway. We need bump speeds. We need stop signs in the middle of the highway. Not that it's going to help, but at least it might, some people might see it. But at least the bump signs might tear up somebody's car and make them think the next time they want to fly down through there. See, y'all don't live in that subdivision, but I do. Mr. Stevens don't live in that subdivision, but I do. Mr. Stevens trying to build more housing. I don't have the right to tell him what to do with his property. But he need to come out there himself and quit talking about a study he did and see what's going on these streets. He don't know what's going on these streets. He just want to come up here and talk about he did a study. Study is when you come to my front door, 702 Hewitt Road, and talk to me in person. That's a study. I invite any of y'all to come talk to me on 702 Hewitt Road. Because last year this time, Mr. Stephen was trying to build a minor subdivision behind the house, in front of my house. Okay, he decided not to do that one. I don't know why. But now he's trying to build this big subdivision behind my house. He got all these studies. But ain't none of these studies including the people what live on this street. From one end of Hewitt to the other end of Hewitt. What happened to the study by you coming out asking us who live there? That's a housing street. We getting up, we got businesses on this end. I don't have no right to tell nobody who to open up their businesses. But my God, give me the same right as to live in peace on the street that I pay. Y'all don't give me no money. I work for every penny I get. Y'all take my taxes out of my little paycheck. But then you sit up here and tell me you did all these studies, Mr. Stevenson. When is the people going to be included? Because if you included the people, they would have let you know from the beginning that they do not like this. They do not want this. And like I said, I ain't got no right to tell you what to do with your property. But my God, we was there first. And you is running over us. This street on Hewitt, this piece of property on Hewitt that he's talking about, no, not a house on it. You know why? Because the water hydrant system for fire is sitting in the middle of that little piece of property. Okay, so what is he going to do? Take it down? Take it up? Then where we're going to have our water hydrant at? What are we going to do then? Get out there with water hose and put our own house out? It don't make no sense. Nobody is really looking at this little piece of property. Nobody is really looking at this land back there. I asked for a fence to go up because people run through your backyard. When the police is at them, that's the first thing they do is hit your yard. So when he put this housing up behind me, guess what's going to happen? That's going to be more people hitting my yard to run from the police. That's what go on in this neighborhood. That's how I know, okay, I understand your studies, but we live there. We live in these neighborhoods. And nobody's worried about what we living at and what's going on there. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel because I pay to stay there.
And ma'am, for the record, the city didn't do no study. That's his study. The city didn't do any study, so nobody up here know nothing about a study, to my knowledge.
Well, the city need to come and do a study and quit having these meetings. I work. I can't keep taking off from work to attend these study meetings that nobody know about. I done lost a day's pay to be here tonight to find out this is the last meeting. The last meeting of what? The city hadn't did no study. So how is the city agreeing with all of this? That's my problem. No, I don't hear nobody talking about a study but Mr. Stevens. Where is the city study? Where is they study? Police can tell you about the criminals who running from them through these subdivisions. If the city want to know, they talk to the police. They can tell them because they done ran through my backyard. And I sit there and watch them on my monitor. That's how bad it is. So yes, I think before another subdivision go up, the city need to step up to the plate and do what they get paid to do.
If I may again, Mr. Stevens did not talk about a study done because one is not required. We did a trip generation that generated 63 trips. That's below the threshold that the city requires a study. So the applicant is not required to do a traffic study for a 59-lot subdivision. Again, we provided the trip generation, to show the number of trips that will be created. And so that's the city's requirements, and we've met those requirements. So once again, this meets all the requirements of the ordinance. Your green space, your traffic, your sewer, your drainage, all those requirements are met. So again, and as far as the notifications, there's 2 other subdivisions, I think, coming up in February on the Planning Commission agenda. I think that's kind of the confusion with the notifications. People are getting notifications of other subdivisions. Again, we've been at this since October. So, these notifications for this development went out a long time ago. So the recent notifications, except for the ones Ms. Cockerham sent out for this specific case, I believe are due to some other subdivisions that are coming up. Thank you.
Good evening.
My name is Rayfield Moore, and I have lots of concerns about this big subdivision. It seems like it's a little area. We've enjoyed that big area open, and we've had such serenity and peace in that area. Then we get this big subdivision down the street from us, and just like someone said before, there's a lot of people just walking up and down the streets, and the trash is being thrown out on the street. I have a little dog that's running around, and he will stay in the yard, except when trash is thrown across the street, he's tempted to run over there, and that's like my child, so I'm worried about that. And this just seems like a whole lot of houses jammed in together. It reminds me of what's down the street. So I'm thinking this is going to be some big problem area. It's like a big project. And y'all know what happened to a project before. You close down schools and everything else. But this is very concerning. Like somebody said about people running from the cops. Yes, yes. Cops were all over my property, and I'm wondering what's going on. Nobody tells me anything. So happened my son is a truck driver, and he was able to tell me somebody got out and they running around. People call and say, somebody's all in the back of your yard. So I'm thinking this is just going to be blown up with all of this. Now, I don't know what kind of houses they're building up in there, but it looks like it's going to be tight. It's going to look like what's down the street from Phoenix Square and Hewitt, J.W. Davis Drive. It's going to be a problem. These people won't know how to keep up their property because they're going to be new, probably people who never owned before, and it's going to be a problem. And we're talking about sewage and water. Hey, we're asking for it. And I don't know, like, if the city doesn't do a study, somebody else comes in where it's for their benefit and do a study, they don't care about us. I've been there all my life. All my life. I've lived in that area. It's been peaceful. But now it's like the traffic on Phoenix Square. The traffic is awful. You're talking about Hewitt Road, Phoenix Square, the same thing. It is terrible. We've already just recently got a stop sign there. I was thinking just recently, I'm like, they need to have one of those road bumps or something in there because these people are racing on Phoenix Square. They're passing each other up on Phoenix Square. It's just atrocious. So getting this in there, it's going to be a problem.
Thank you. And for the record, I like to say I asked about a traffic study. So I did ask, you can come on, you can come on.
Oh, and another thing, I hear people talking about letters. I'm adjacent to that property. I never got a letter. I saw a little bitty sign and I walked down the street to see what it said. And that was months ago. But this meeting, I didn't know until the councilman, I talked to him and found out that there was a meeting tonight. I found out, yesterday. So, no, I never got a letter.
And see, it goes back to Medline. We talked about this here sign the size of the sign we were dealing with Medline. Y'all remember that many years ago. And it's amazing how stuff keep coming back, hitting the elected officials in the face, that we already had this discussion. I done had this discussion with Lacey when she was the administration. I done had this discussion with Charles since he the administration. And for every planner they done had, I done had this discussion. And it's like I'm talking to deaf ears. And you hear about these letters right now. So this stuff, that it's not made up. And I just happen to say, well, let me see if anybody know anything about the meeting. And you see what's going on. So, Andre, I'm going to ask you, when they were supposed to receive the first letter about this project?
Councilman, I don't have the UDC in front of me, so I just don't know. I don't want to give you an answer that I don't know. It would all be prescribed in the UDC.
Okay, so look like he got the answer.
Good evening. My name is Tom Easterly. My address is 450 Laurel Street, Baton Rouge. I'm an attorney and I represent the developer. I've been working with the developer for a long time, and I've been monitoring everything in connection with the communications with the planning staff as the adjustments were made to this particular proposed development. In particular, Councilman Wells, I've noticed that there are a number of different issues that you've raised that have been discussed relative to notice. And I spoke with my client, and my client, in my recommendation, feels that it would be best for the council to defer this matter to the next meeting so that we make sure that the proper public notices were sent out for the meeting before a vote goes out on this particular item. And he's willing to defer it to the next regularly scheduled meeting. And I don't know that he has to do that, but I'm just sitting in the back listening, and a lot of different people have raised a lot of genuine comments. And just to make sure that everything is done on the up and up, we would like to defer this to the next meeting, put it back on the agenda, and just make sure that all the notices are proper and just address those issues. Because take this the right way, I don't think that the developer has anything to do with the notices. And the folks from the planning staff didn't really know the answer to that, because I don't know that that's something that you really, come armed with. They got the plans and they've got all the details associated with the layout of the street and a lot of information. But just to make sure that everything's done the right way, we'd like to potentially defer it if that would please the council, just to make sure that there are no issues with that.
What the people say, what y'all say? So, yeah. So, yes, I'd like to put it off until everybody receive a letter. And thank you so much, sir. I really wish, and I mean this, that we had more people like you around the city of Hammond. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Instead of just the people that's adjacent to that property, how about the whole neighborhood up in that area? Because that's a whole block that affect.
I really don't know the process, and I really believe since we're getting all these city planners, I don't think they really know the process either. So, I mean, what you suggest, I have no problem with it. And then I really want to let's do some certified letters that we know everybody will receive a letter. So I don't know the process of how they do in their office.
How we get the name, we look at the property, and then we look at each one of those properties and get it off of the GIS information that we have. And that's how we come up with the name.
That's really up in, that's really up in the center of a block. I mean, from Magnolia all the way down to J.W. Davis, where they're building that.
Well, I just think they just need to send out the letters, get with the planning, Councilman Wells in your district. I mean, if you want them to send it out a block, just send out the letter to the block and whatever you feel comfortable with, and then let the planning department know that and send out the letters.
I've been suggesting a lot of things to them, but you see now where we at, that it don't work.
Well,
Again, Tom Easterly. My understanding is from the planning staff that all the code requirements were followed and that the notification provisions are in the code, but the additional time will give us additional time to sort of do what we can to confirm that the notices go out pursuant to the code. But I'd like to just end by saying that the developers worked with planning. You know, the second entrance is an emergency vehicle issue. That comes up a lot. That's in the code. I know that especially the ladies had a lot of genuine concerns, but all of the requirements are in the code were met. It matches with the zoning ordinances and the restrictions in the zoning ordinances, and there are no requests for any variances or waivers. And the attorney for the council can tell you what that means, and we can maybe talk about that later, but you know, certainly the developer does not want to slide a fast one by anyone, and we want to take the time to make sure that the notices go out right. So I appreciate it very much, Councilman Wells and Chairman agreeing to kind of postpone it. And when would that next meeting be? A couple weeks, a month, something like that?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Does that give enough time to get notices out for that meeting?
Well, and also to see that she sent them out. All those adjacent property owners notices, she would have verification if they were sent out.
And that-
So if
that
that's the
gives us
case, I
enough
don't want to
time.
say that she did and she didn't, but I would assume she followed protocol, so.
There are times that we get them back, some of them back is non-deliverable, you know, so, and I can tell you myself, I have received, I live on West Michigan. I received a letter that was to Halton Hills in my mailbox.
Well, we just want to know what letters were sent out around this property and that they were all sent out.
And do we have enough time between now and the next meeting, or do we need any additional notices or anything like that, or we're good to go?
She'll find out tomorrow what she sent out. She'll have that information tomorrow.
I'm gonna follow up and make sure that we got enough time in order to do it the right way so that we can calm those questions and concerns, and we'll talk again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, sir.
Last concern that I have. I live in my house. Can't nobody come in and tell me what needs to be done in my house. And I'm saying this to the council. Please know what's going on, you know, in our areas, because he shouldn't have to come up here and tell us what's the code for this and what's the code for that. We should have people in place. We have an attorney on the council. We have a city attorney. We got to come together, because I'm not going to let anybody come to my house, my city, and just tell me this is how we're going to do it. Is this a done deal? Because it sounds like it's done already. That's a question I'm asking. It sounds like it's done because they telling us what they're going to do.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Michael Vaughn. I'm COO of Beacon Light Church. I want to thank all of you for this opportunity to speak to the council and certainly to all of the members here from the local community. I just want to make sure that we make a statement, and that statement is we're here to support the best way forward so that we satisfy the needs of not only the residents, but also the needs of the Planning Commission so that they get everything done the way that they need to get it done. There's no rush, there's no hurry. It was never our intent or the builder's intent to one-up you or get one over on you. It is intended to increase the value of the community. I heard a couple of folks state that they thought this was rental property or they thought it was lesser housing. It is, in fact, looking at about 59 houses that are going to really contribute to the tax base in this area. We're talking about single-family dwellings that will truly improve and enhance the community. These are houses that are being created for your children, even for you. And so there are no limitations on who can move there, and it's really a nice place. It will be a nice place to be. We have members of our church who will live in these homes. We have folks that have been here for a very long time that will become residents of this home. So if the way forward is to review and look at this on the next meeting, we're all for it. Please, any questions that anyone may have of myself, and the intent of Beacon Light as we sought to sell this property, I'll be glad to answer. But please know that you have a reputable builder who has done very nice housing across the state that you can go and take a look at and know that you're getting something that I think will benefit this entire community. I hope that this can happen within the next couple of months, but surely, we should never walk away from the situation not having every question answered. And there's some other underlying things I hear about grass, fences, and things that really doesn't have anything to do with the property. But certainly, I think we can get those things addressed as well. So council, do your thing. We support the decisions you have to make. I hope you understand this is also just a business decision for us as well. So thank you so much.
And thank you, sir, for even coming out to the meeting, taking time to address the people and the councils. Thank you so much.
Does he live there?
In Hammond, I reside personally in Baton Rouge. I'm the officer at Beacon Light Church, and so I have family here.
And that's all good.
I have family here. And so let's work again together to give you a best outcome. There's some other underlying issues that have not been resolved based on some of the things I've heard. I think it's take the next month to really put those things in front of your council members so that they can bring it to the table and get all of those things addressed. But remember, due diligence has been done to get the permits and to move forward based on the needs of this community. So no one's operating outside of the law based on what's been done.
And I totally respect that.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm just saying, it's a financial gain for Beacon Light. But for me, it's personal. It's my community. It's where I've been living for almost 40 years.
And we respect that of everyone. Last statement, if you don't mind, all of you have homes here, and if you sold your home, it'll be a financial benefit for you as well. And so we're business people as well as the church and the community, never looking to overshadow any one person, but looking to support the community and do what's best for everyone, okay? It's 59 homes. That increases the tax base. There's more citizens here who look to stay and raise their families in Hammond, Louisiana. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's all good.
Thank you.
We're open for concerns and questions. We'll address those things, but we did not turn our properties, and we're not looking to turn our property over to a person or persons or an entity that's looking to rob, hurt, maim this community in any way. We're not about that, okay?
All right. Thank you again, sir. At this time, do we have anybody else on this here matter? Because I think we're looking at tabling this here. But if anybody else, you can speak now or you can hold it to the next meeting if you like. Anybody else on this here matter? Thank you.
Number 6.
An ordinance by the city planner to amend general definitions from the city's Unified Development Code, UDC. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Frank, you go.
This is part of the update of the codes. This code was adopted in 2014. Over time, changes occur in, like, for example, in base flood elevations and state ordinances and so forth. And when you look down, some of us may not be here in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So we look at it, when we're looking at it now, we're saying, where did they get this definition? So the point of this is to let people know where this definition comes from. So as you can see in each one of them, it references either the revised statutes or it references the National Flood Insurance Program where the definitions came from. So that's the reason for doing it.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item?
Nick Gagliano, Hammond, Louisiana. On this right here, the question I have, will this help reduce our flood insurance? Is this part of the flood plan that was undertaken a few years ago? Is this part of that, or is this anything to do with helping reduce our flood insurance in the flood zone that was supposed to get requalified.
This does not have anything to do with reducing the flood insurance. What it does is it clarifies what the different ordinances, what the different definitions are. So what the base flood elevation is and so forth. That is done under a different program. This is the Unified Development Code, which stipulates things. That's under somebody else to reduce. National flood insurance program is a different program that we don't have.
Okay, then the last question, just where are we on the flood, that study?
I'm not involved.
Yeah, I can provide, I can provide an update. So I think the last update I provided to the council, the firm that we had contracted with to do the study had submitted initial data set to FEMA. As we expected, FEMA came back with some questions and requests for revisions. There was also some interest in the council in expanding the areas of the flood study. So they've been working both to expand the flood study per the council's request and also respond to FEMA's request for additional information. So the last update I got from them was just about a week or two ago. They're looking at resubmitting everything in March, and they're indicating that they're now able to cover parts of the southwest portion around the Yellow Water River area in the study. So the study is actually a bit bigger than what was originally submitted, and they've, in responding to FEMA's requests for additional information, they've realized there was an opportunity to include more in the potential revision to the flood insurance rate map. So again, it'll be resubmitted in early March. We'll have FEMA, again, there'll be another round of review by FEMA. Hopefully this time that process will be quicker, and as soon as we have an update, I'll be sharing that. Again, there is an expectation that in revising the flood insurance rate maps, many of our flood insurance customers in Hammond will see a benefit. We'll see reductions in their policies. Some people may actually find that they're no longer in a flood hazard area. And so they can either have the insurance at their option or not.
Well, good news, thank you for that, and keep their feet to the fire so we can get our insurance down, so thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Hammond City Council regular session agenda, 6:32 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Divatario. Councilman Wells. Here. Councilman Leon.
Here. At this time, I'm going to call up Evangelist Cox to lead us in our opening prayer.
Let us all repeat. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, God, for another meeting with our councils in the city of Hammond. And God, we pray that you would give us direction, give us knowledge, power, and understanding. Most of all, give us love and peace. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. At this time, for our Pledge of Allegiance, I ask that all veterans and active military please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I ask for approval of our minutes from our January 13th, 2026 meeting, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Final adoption of ordinance, old business number 1.
Where am I? Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a request by Mary Levine to annex 21.77 and 18 acres of Magazine Street into the city's corporate limits. The property is to be zoned RS-3 and located in District 1. The Planning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption.
As discussed during the public hearing, we're asking the council's approval of this request.
Anyone from the public on this item? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
New business number 1.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Vince Lebeek to rezone 206 Tower Drive from I-L to C-H to expand on the allowed uses for that property. The property is located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption.
Again, as discussed during the public hearing, we're asking for the council's approval of this request.
Anyone from the public on this item? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Number 2.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a revocation of city right-of-way by Sergio Mesa east of 711 East Morris Avenue for future subdivision of the property. The property is located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption, 5-0. Charles?
Once again, as discussed during the public hearing, we're requesting approval of this request.
Anyone from the public on this item? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye. Number 3.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Joe Lombardo to rezone 800, 801, 803, 807, and 809 South Oak Street from RS-3 to RM-2 to C-N to make the east side of 800 South Oak Street for an expansion of their behavioral health center. The property is located in District 2. Applicant is proposing to add outpatient services and an additional 24 more beds to the proposed new facility. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption, 5-0.
As discussed during the public hearing, pending review by the Drainage District, the administration is requesting that we table both this item and the following item.
Anyone from the public on this item? I make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Andrews?
Aye. Number 4.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a revocation of city right-of-way by Joe Lombardo west of 800 South Oak Street, Block 8 and 9 of the Barber Addition, to be zoned C-N for an expansion of their behavioral health center. The property is located in District 2. Applicant is proposing to add outpatient services and an additional 24 more beds to the proposed new facility. Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends the adoption.
Again, we're recommending we table this item.
Anyone from the public? Make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Number 5.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a major subdivision by Chad Stevens at 610 Hewitt Road, located in District 3. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption, 5-0.
The applicant has requested the council consider tabling this item so that additional clarification can be made.
Anyone else from the public on this item? I make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Number 6.
Final adoption of an ordinance by the city planner to amend general definitions from the city's Unified Development Code, UDC, The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0.
As discussed during the public hearing, we're asking for the council's approval of this amendment.
Anyone from the public on this item? Anyone from the council have any questions or concerns?
Yes, I done met with Ms. Frankie several times on this here, so you'll never hear no opposition, because guess what? It don't do no good to say anything if nothing gonna change. That's it from me.
Anyone else? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
And Councilman Wells?
No.
Introduction of ordinance number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Stephen Shower to rezone 300 Morris Road from RS-11 to RS-11.A to I-L to match the zoning to the east of the property in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption. Charles Barsher.
I'm going to ask Frankie to come up and speak about this one.
They're requesting to rezone from RS-11A to in light industrial, and this will match the zoning on the east side of the property, as you see, and it will give them a better, a larger area to deal with if they want to eventually sell this property.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council. With the owner.
Hold on, Kip. Yeah. Stephen, you want to talk?
Stephen Sheriff, 584 Oak Hollow in Hammond. I'm the manager of Woodlands LLC, which owns the, actually 2 parcels here. One of the parcels is light industrial, and we are requesting that the west side simply match the east side. You can see the railroad track on the north side. There's no specific plan for this property other than to get it listed for sale, and hopefully, attract a good business partner to the city to utilize the railroad track. But yeah, we just want to list it as, essentially one parcel, about 40 acres, and be able to advertise that it is owned the same.
And I'd just like to add, as I normally did, I forgot to do it this time, these are all introductions. So for the public out there, if introduced tonight, there will be a public hearing on this at the next council meeting. There will be letters that are sent out to adjacent property owners by the council. Letters have previously been sent out ahead of the planning and zoning meetings to adjacent property owners.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilman Divatario?
Yes, aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Introduction number 2.
Introduction of an ordinance to approve a rezoning request by Mona Pellicino to rezone 502 East Morris Avenue from RM-2 to MX-C for a counseling office in District 2. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption. Frankie?
Yes. The reason she's requesting is because a counseling office is not allowed in RM2. That's mostly residential. But it is allowed in MXC. And what it'll do, since there's MXC, it's on both sides and across the street, so it will really be much better for the zoning area to fulfill that you have the MXC all along there.
Is there anyone from the public on this item?
Is this property within the overlay? Is this property within the Iowa District overlay?
I don't believe it is.
Just trying to find
we
it. I
looked at we looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find it easy,
I think
so-
it's just to the south of there.
Okay. Just
It kind of goes crooked along
Hanson.
one of the lines there, between the two things, but it is not there.
Okay.
Right behind you.
I'm Mona Pellegrino. I've owned this property for a while and rented it to families that were living there, and they were parking street side. When they moved out in April, I wanted to invest some money to have a driveway there and parking. And in applying for the permits and meeting with the city, it was brought to my attention that the zoning for this property really wasn't consistent with the zoning around it. So I took the opportunity to finish the projects that I was doing and then apply for zoning to look at it and approve for it to be zoned consistent with the properties around it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Introduce, yeah.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Introduction number 3.
Introduction of an ordinance by the city planner to amend the city's Unified Development Code regarding appeals. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 5-0. Frankie?
Yes. This was a joint project between Andre and I. Andre wanted to amend the appeal section, and then I wanted to clarify which the Planning and Zoning Commission, which would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission acting as the Board of Appeal. Yeah.
Board of Adjustments.
So, and the other one, that's basically what it does. It clarifies what type of process it is, what it's considered, and then it also bends the time for the appeals and some of the information around the appeals.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council?
Yeah, could somebody explain how the appeal worked for me, please?
Yes, Councilman, so there are various appeal options available to folks if they've been denied, either at Planning and Zoning or Board of Adjustments throughout the process. This really just cleans it up. Everybody's still going to have a right to appeal, but it makes it clear what the deadlines are and who's the appeal go to and all that. So it's just a cleanup of the appeal process.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions on this item?
The biggest change, how it reads right now to the new one, Andre, what's going to be the biggest change?
It really sets out business days compared to regular days. It sets out specified times, where the appeal goes to, who it goes to. It gives clarity to someone who's looking to appeal a decision, clearly explains what you have to do to appeal it.
So yeah, right now they don't have actual days on the cutoff date, when it has to
Not
get
clear whether
into.
it's a business day or if it's a calendar day.
Okay.
So really, we're just trying to make it clearer for everyone what the process is.
So who is the Board of Adjustment?
So the Board of Adjustments is really the Planning and Zoning Commission. They sit as a Board of Adjustments depending upon what the item is.
All right, thank you.
And the 5 days, see where it says right here, is that, where did that come from? Like, is that the 5 days? Did it say 5 days originally? Now it's just saying business days?
Yes,
Or
it
that's
was
how
5 days. Now, the issue was, is it a 5 calendar day?
Okay.
Is it 5 business day? Do you go back to the city code, the civil code of Louisiana when you're trying to interpret it? All we're doing is cleaning it up.
All right. I make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Introduction number 4.
Introduction of an ordinance to eliminate the 2,000-gallon minimum charge for water service. Charles Barsher.
So this is something that we're looking at doing to respond to a concern, questions that were raised back in May and June when we were discussing the rate increase. And those largely had to do with how is this going to affect our low-income, our fixed-income residents. I don't know if that's my mic.
Somebody's phone or something. Is that up there?
Thank you, sir. One of the things that we've identified is in the existing ordinance, prior to the rate increase, there was a minimum usage of 2,000 gallons. What this means is that if you are on fixed income and let's say you use 1,000 gallons, you're actually paying for more water and sewer than you're actually using. So in fairness to those users, we're recommending to eliminate that minimum and charge people for what they actually use. So if you use 1,000 gallons, you would be charged for 1,000 gallons. If you use 500 gallons, you would charge for 500 gallons. This would directly benefit our residents who are of lower income, fixed income, retirees, senior citizens. You know, if you use about 1,000 gallons of water per month, this could save you about $8 on a sewer bill that's in the $40 range. So it would bring your bill down into the mid-30s. If you use less than 1,000 gallons, you could see more significant savings. So we feel like this is going to be a direct, meaningful benefit to, again, our fixed income, lower income residents, and not a huge hit on the revenues that we're expected to meet by the state. Again, this is the introduction tonight. If it's introduced by the council, we'll have a public hearing on this at the next council meeting. But we wanted to get this to the council for consideration.
Anyone from the public on this item?
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Megan Frady Bordelon, and I reside at 408 Hewitt Road with my husband and 2 children. I'm here today to discuss what has become unreasonable water bills. My most recent water bill was $270, which is more than triple my usual bill. As I examined my bill, I noticed the sewer portion of my bill was significantly more than the water portion. I reached out to the water company to request my meter be read again, as this bill was so much more than we've ever had in our 11 years in our home, with no obvious change in our consumption. During my conversation with them, I learned that a sewer cap of $40 that had been in effect since 1995 had been removed. Why was this cap removed? The removal of this cap, in addition to the increase in rates for water, sewer, and trash, has resulted in a water bill more than 3 times what my family budgets for. That cap made sure residents with gardens, lawns, and pools that require water didn't have to pay for that water through the sewer portion of their bill, since the city doesn't have sewer meters. That water is given back to the earth, not treated by the sewer plant, so we should not be footing the bill as if it were. One solution offered to me was an irrigation meter for the cost of $250 to have the city install it. That's not just the cost of the meter, though. There's also the cost of running everything that shouldn't be billed under sewer to a new meter, digging trenches and running water lines all over my property. Some residents will have to hire a plumber, which would likely cost thousands of dollars. I'm lucky I have a handyman husband, so we can probably do it ourselves. Still going to cost hundreds of dollars and take a lot of time from our little bit of time we have with our family. We're at home 2 days a week. All of this to have a fair water bill, a second water meter for anyone who wants to let their children play in the sprinkler in the summertime. How is this feasible to the average resident? Is this your vision for Hammond, America? How are other cities outside of Hammond, like Ponchatoula and Tickfaw, making it work? How is the Tangipahoa Parish Water District making it work? Their residents don't have to have 2 meters and 2 water bills to have affordable water. Now, every house with a pool, garden, desire to pressure wash their vehicles in those areas needs to have an irrigation meter. They don't have that in the other parishes, in the other cities. Why has that become necessary in Hammond? I have much more to say on this topic, including underreading, catching you up from incorrect reads, and the extreme varying of billing cycle dates. Anywhere from 15 to 52 days is how long it takes for my meter to get read. But I'll save that for another day. Once again, I ask, why was the sewer cap removed? Please consider reinstating the sewer cap, even if it's higher than what it previously was, and protect the citizens who voted you in. Thank you.
I wanted to say something, really this sounds good, and I'm glad you're trying to put this in place or whatnot, but the problem is it's more of a management problem. What I'm facing here is because they can have this put in place, but if they're not reading the meters right, then it doesn't matter what it is because it's not being accurately read. And so, that's the main problem we're having right now. And I get the calls from $140, and then it actually get a reread. Well, I had this conversation last time at a council meeting about how the process works when they call it a reread. I know for a fact, call for reread, and they sent back out, reread and was right. They got it fixed, thankfully, and I appreciate the mayor helping out. But the problem is some people don't know how the process works, and they're paying these bills, and they're not paying the right amount, and it's stealing. And I don't really like that at all. And we got to do a better job with reading these meters. It's too inconsistently, and it's going too far all the way. And then the rereads, you almost got to call them twice or three times to get them reread to get it fixed. And so I don't know what they're doing when they're going out there and they're figuring it out and fixing it a second or third time. But the people shouldn't have to manage their own water meter and get credits, and everybody just wants to pay their bill. They just want to pay what they owe and move on. It takes time out of what their schedule is and everything else, and all they want to do is pay their bill. They don't want a credit. They don't want a balance. They don't want a rolling line of credit. Just want the bill paid what it's supposed to be billed. So, yeah, this looks great, but it has to be read right. And that's the problem we keep having.
So let me respond to that in two ways. First of all, what's being introduced here today is removing a 2,000-gallon minimum, which, again, for users who use less than that, you're charging them for 2,000 gallons. If I use 1,000 gallons of water every month and I'm paying a minimum of 2,000,
but you got to read the meter right. What I'm saying,
I'm paying twice what I should be paying. So this is about scaling it back and doing it based on usage. Now, to the point of reading the meters correctly, you're absolutely right. I think we're getting a lot of calls, as I said at the last meeting. People are paying more attention because their rates have gone up and they're seeing larger bills. We are doing more courtesy rereads to ensure that the reading is correct. As the mayor mentioned at the last meeting, we recently become aware of an issue with some of the wireless meters where when they're sending their reading to our accounting system, something is not going through properly. So we're trying to resolve that. That is why we're doing some of these rereads. The reason that the cap was removed, in 1985, there was a cap of $40. What that does is say that up to $40, you're going to pay for what you use. So everyone that uses, at the time, $40 was roughly equivalent of 13,500 gallons. So if you use 13,500 gallons, you were going to pay for that usage. But if you use 90,000 gallons, you were going to pay $40. You weren't going to pay for what you were actually using. That doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair to make people who use less pay for what they're using and make people who use significantly more not pay for what they're using. The rate study that was performed by the state assigned rate study group, they based their recommendations on usage. So, they have a projection that they're saying we need to meet in order to properly maintain our water and sewer systems, and we need to raise enough funds through our water and sewer revenues to meet that expenditure in terms of maintenance and operation and improvements to the water and sewer systems. They did not look at things like a cap or a minimum. They simply looked at what are people using and how do you apply a rate to usage that gets you to cover your expenses. A $40 cap in 1995 is the equivalent of an $85 cap today. Most of our users do not use anywhere near the cap. We do have users that use significantly more than the cap, and for those users, we're generally finding that these are people who have large yards, they have lots of landscaping, they have pools, and for those users, an irrigation meter is often a good solution because with an irrigation meter, you're paying strictly for the water. When you drain your pool, it's generally not going into the sewer, it's going into the ground, it's going into the storm drains. When you water your lawn or wash your car, it's not going into the sewer, it's going into the ground. So in those cases, an irrigation meter is how you meter for water and you don't meter for sewer. Those are the kind of the groups we're dealing with. If the bill has been high, it's either because of high usage or it's because of a misread. And that's generally the case. I am looking at a bill now that Councilman Gonzalez sent me to look at. I can't tell you right now if it's a misread or if it's high usage. It seems to be a combination of both. So I'm going to have to reach out to the customer and find out how they might be using water in their home. They don't have a pool. They do have a large yard. But we are actively looking at bills when people contact us with concerns about how high their bill is, comparatively speaking. We are actively looking at it. I've personally been involved in researching bills after they've gone through utility billing, and the customer still feels like they haven't been resolved. But again, this is not really related to that. This is a way to reduce costs for our low-income, fixed-income users. We're looking at that. I have not seen any bills in the middle class. The question was, what about the middle class? I've not. Didn't you get a call back from utility billing? Didn't they indicate that there was a misread? Okay. Okay, I'm a double check with utility billing, but what I was told is that they had spoken to you, there was a misread, and there was an adjustment made to your bill. Okay, well then I will follow up on that tomorrow.
And she, and speaking what she's just saying, I know factually it happened, and they told the resident, which was my mom that lives next door, that her bill was right. She's 75 years old, lives by herself, and her bill's always $40-something, and it was $130.
Sorry,
There's no leak. I'm talking right now, Charles, about it. And so therefore, it's the reread problem, and they told her that they reread it and it was fine. Then they had to go back and check it again. Then and magically it was fixed, So what I'm getting at is that's the problem that's multiplied throughout the city. So I talked about it last meeting, and then it happened right after the meeting. So you need to get a hold to the water department and figure out the management problem. When they go out and reread, it should be read right. I understand mistakes. They make mistakes. That's fine. But how do you come back and reread and then they reread it again and then they found? Did they read the wrong? I don't know. But they need a little better coaching, a little management, or something going on, and we need to do better than what we're doing.
Right. I want to apologize. I misspoke earlier. You're the customer who has the large yard and the pool, and the recommended solution for you was an irrigation meter. Okay. All right.
Which isn't just $250. It's everything else that would be required to get water everywhere that I wanted in my yard where it wouldn't go to my sewer. That's a spigot at my driveway, that's one by my pool, that's one by every plant I want to water. It's not reasonable to offer that as a solution.
And ma'am, let me just say something. Charles, you did a lot of talking for nothing. That's what you did. And far as what they recommend you to do, that's for commercial buildings. That's not for residential. Yes, so whoever recommend that, they was dead wrong. That's for commercial use only. That's not for residential. But these some of the things that take place, and I see you up there, Ms. Pam, but give me 1 minute. That letter, Charles, you said that you got from the state, I'd like to get a copy of that letter.
It's not a letter, it's a study, but I can...
Okay, I'd like to get a copy of that study. And I'm going to say this here, and thank you, ma'am, so much, because what she said, washing the car, I tried to put some on the agenda, but somehow it got moved or rewritten. I don't know what happened. But what I wanted to put on the agenda, what you talked about, you washing a car, that have nothing to do with the sewer. And the problem is, since we can't get the water straight, and all this here you just said, all this here we got here, it's another waste of time, in my opinion. We need to go back to the old sewer rate, point blank. That's what we need to do, because the problem is, it's not so much as the water, it's the sewer we're wearing everybody out. So let's not keep saying the water It's the sewer where we having an issue with, because she washing the car. She watering her plants. She got a swimming pool. It don't matter what she have. None of that water is going through the sewer line. So that's the problem that we're having, and nobody, you can't sit here and tell nobody, get a secondary meter, get a secondary meter. That costs us money. Not counting, Miss Trevor had to pay a plumber to come out and check her pipes, which didn't have no problem. It's a city problem. The problem is the city paying these guys to read the meter. But see, I ain't got to say no more. They just said it. Thank you. Miss Jackie, Miss Jackie.
Hammond. Mayor, you and I spoke last time we were here at the meeting about a reread. That's been since December. You took my information down. I've called you 4 times, and I text you on the 20th. No response from you at all.
Shalita called you, didn't she?
No. I called the city and asked about my reread. Nobody has contacted me. I don't have any record of the city's number in my phone. I don't erase anything, but you never responded to me either. 4 calls and a
Referred it
text
to
message.
Shalita.
But that's been, so now I've generated another bill, but that's been since December the 23rd that I went in and asked for a reread for my meter. Then I went back a week later after the holidays. Nobody have contacted me. I spoke with you 2 weeks ago. It's still no contact. So what's the use of giving you my information and nobody's following through with it?
Hey there. I have a question. Was there a change?
You give us your name, sir.
Sorry, Sergio Mesa, 208 South Oak. Was there a change in the way that the meters were read or any new technology? Or like, why is this problem a thing? Because it seems to be a thing, you know, for the past couple months, maybe a year, and then obviously there was a rate increase, so all this stuff is happening. But my question is there a way that the process changed in the last year or so?
Through a handheld meter reader is what we've been having some problems with of late, that isn't reading it properly and talking to the computer system as it needs to the software.
Gotcha.
That's been most of our bad reads.
Gotcha. Because, and this is just me as like, you know, a person of the community. We have a pretty big utility meter company in downtown, 211 South Oak Street, UMS. I would assume that these people would even be happy to help us to try to figure out a solution, even if it's not them doing it, as they also pay these bills. So I just wanted to bring that up. UMS Water Meter Solutions, they're in downtown. They go and service very large cities in other states, other countries. I'm sure they can figure out our problem of what we have going on, if that's any help to anybody.
We have had some communication with UMS. In fact, I'm awaiting a call from someone from UMS, sort of related to this issue, to see what we can make some improvements. We were very fortunate in getting some grant dollars to purchase new wireless meters, and the goal here is to replace some of the older, harder to read meters. Obviously, we weren't anticipating a recent update in the software to cause some of these misread problems. There are certainly cases of our meter readers misreading the meter, like physically misreading the meter. There's any number of reasons how that could happen. They may read it correctly, write the number down incorrectly or illegibly. So, you know, we're trying to resolve those issues. As I've said before, if a customer looks at their bill, feels like their bill is disproportionately high, contact utility billing, call them, email them, come into the office. Understand the first person you may get may be just the person that collects the money. They may not be able to answer your questions, but be patient. Let them get you to a supervisor like Shalita. I'll even step in if Shalita's busy, and we'll do the research and try to figure out what's going on. Are you being billed correctly? Do we need to do a reread? Do you have one of the meters that might be affected by a wireless meter problem? And then, you know, we'll advise you from there. We're not going to shut off water because there was an issue with last month's bill. We're going to try to figure out what that issue is, if it was an issue, and work with you to make sure that, you know, your water remains active and we don't shut it off, that we get the issue resolved.
Thank you.
And Charles, I think another thing here is not the mistakes. It's about how when they call in, the process internally. Y'all know y'all have problems over there. So, I mean, that should be a conversation with them to make sure that okay, if a bill comes in and a bill is usually $40 or $50 and one bill's $200, I mean, it's probably that's just history. There's probably a problem that's probably a misread, and you don't just tell the person it's read fine and then have to come back again. So I think really the handling while y'all get it under control or whatever y'all doing in there, that I think they really need to pay a little more attention to the process of the rereading. Because that's another problem. You call in there and they say, that's your meter, that's what you get. And then it turns out it's not the case. And I think it's happened more throughout the city. I get the calls about it. And then I say, oh, yeah, well, just go reread. Oh, they reread it and they said it's the same. And then I say, well, call again. Well, I mean, that's the problem, I think, is half the problem. So.
Good evening, Council. Stanley Campbell, District 1. Over the last couple of meetings, I've seen a lot of residents come and they spoke on these issues, and I've spoke to some of them even after some of the meetings to get an understanding of what was going on. This month, I actually felt what they were talking about. I have one bill that went from $49 to $375. I have one home that's 2 homes down that is unoccupied that went from $49 to $210, and there's nobody living there, and the water's turned off. I've turned it off myself. So some of the stuff that I'm hearing, and I understand this, and I appreciate you guys trying to come up with something. Quick question, is this going to be retroactive for those residents that if this ordinance is passed?
No, this would go into effect when it's passed. So if this is passed by the council at the next meeting, I think it goes into effect. It's in the ordinance. Zach, can you scroll down a little bit? I think it goes into effect, March 1st. So the presumption is if it were adopted by the council at the next meeting in February, it would go into effect with the March billing. That gives us a small window to remove the minimum usage from all the bills.
Okay, if I can, I'd like to make a recommendation, because even if this ordinance is passed, there's still some elderly and just regular middle-class residents that are still going to have to deal with that and exorbitant costs. How many customers does the city have? How many water customers do?
Approximately 7,500.
7,500? How long would it take us to reread all 7,500 to get an understanding? Because it seems as we know there's a systemic issue dealing with water. So instead of having every resident come up here and trickle in every couple of meetings, and we take a full 2 hours to go over it and everybody to bring your bills to each and every one of you, or if we have to have a personal relationship with someone, would it be better suited if we came up with something to where we can just reread them, all of them?
We do that monthly.
I mean, the mayor said, we do monthly. Actually, we do 2 separate groups of readings because we have 7,500 customers. So they do an initial reading of like the first half and the second reading of the second half. So every month, all of the meters are getting reread. So if there is an anomaly, let's say, I've seen a bill where there was a 0 for 1 month, and then you go look at the bill the next month and there's a high usage. Well, clearly there was a misread. You wouldn't have 0.
So how do you capture that? Like mine, if I went from $79 to $375 and my consumption hasn't changed, how would that flag someone in the department, and why hasn't it flagged someone?
So it's not going to automatically flag. What we need customers to do is to contact us. If you're seeing an increase that's significant, that suggests that something's wrong, that there was a misread, there could be a leak. It could also be that you have something that's using a lot of water that we need to look at. But if you're seeing that kind of jump, if your bill is typically around $49, that's pretty close to the average bill. It shouldn't jump to $300. It shouldn't jump to $200.
Right, but what I'm trying to get at is there a way that we can be proactive? Instead of asking the residents to trickle in here every meeting and having to deal with water issues in between every meetings, is there a way that we can be proactive, and not wait for everybody to have to come in here and do their own thing?
I mean, I think what we've told the meter readers is to be more careful when reading the meters, to make sure that the reading they're getting is accurate. If it's a physical reading they're taking, make sure that the physical reading is what you're writing down or logging. If it's a electronic meter and it's a wireless meter reading, we're now aware of an issue when that reading gets submitted to our accounting system, so we're looking at that to make sure that it's correct. I don't know if there's another way to be more proactive.
Can we do a study as to how much it would cost us to go back and just reread all of these meters over the last couple months and look at those points that have jumped from $49 to these inabsorbent dollar amounts? Because, I mean, I'm hearing there's a lot of them, and they should kind of stand out. It should be easy to do. You understand?
I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to think practically how we would do that. Like the mayor said, we're rereading all the meters every month. So we're already doing that. But what you're asking is there a way for us to detect when there's an anomalous reading?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because mine wasn't captured, and I have 2 homes that did that.
Right.
So none of them were captured. So it seems as we didn't come up with a different program.
I don't know. I mean, that's a valid question. I can ask our utility billing, is there a way to run some type of report? Maybe there's a way to run a report for readings over what we would say would be the average.
I don't know why you can't, I mean, today is 2026. There should be something that where you could put in the system. If it's been reading, let's say under $60 and it shoots up to 300 or 400, I hope it's not 1,000 meters like that. I'd imagine it's less than 100. So what I'm saying is that should trigger some in the system that let's send a rereader out instead of having to be called. Like there should be something you could set technology, IT department, something where when it hits over a certain deal, obviously like a big red, it should shoot a little red deal on that account, and then you just go note and go take a look at it, and it won't have to be managed all the time by the customer.
Right. Like I said, I don't know if our software has that capability, but I can ask, and I can think of a few ways that we can maybe look for those anomalous readings. Really low readings like 0,
Yeah.
and really high readings, that we could take a look at those readings and at least, determine like, okay, if it's 0, it's probably a misread unless the water is shut off.
Right.
If it's 90,000 gallons, probably a misread, or there's something going on there that we don't understand. So let's take a second look at it.
Okay.
Charles, what about in billing? We can't get a report run in billing by dollar amount from high to low?
That's what I'm suggesting. I'm saying usage, but it would be the same thing, whether we're looking at usage or dollar amount. Same thing, looking for high usage or high dollar amounts, or 0 usage and $0.
Yeah, but it's going to have to be something like that, because even when you call into the office, even with mine where it went from $79 to $375, when I called in, they told me it was correct. So I've heard that over and over and over again, and that's why I'm just trying to make a recommendation, man, on how we can fix it.
Right.
Sergio again, District 2, 208 South Oak. So same topic. I think our data collection is where our problem is coming from, not the accounting, not how we resolve the problem or give the credit or not give the credit. There's technology out there with utility meters that can be upgraded. So maybe just if you guys can look into when that last was done and maybe what other, I mean, if my phone's slow, after a while, you just get a new phone, right? So I think that would help us from the top of the problem as opposed to doing all this Band-Aiding, and keeping up for you guys on the ode and things like that. So that's
and as I mentioned, we were gracious enough to receive a grant. We are planning to purchase new meters that will replace the oldest and hardest to reach read meters. That will improve our ability to read the meter.
Maybe this goes without saying.
And we replace those often. Badger meters are what we're using. Those are the meters also that get read by the handhelds. So the collection data on that end, that's the majority of the ones that we're having issues with, as I said before.
Yeah, so my suggestion, obviously, I know you guys probably talk about this a lot, but instead of maybe buying the same type of meters, maybe another system for the city that would help us out. And look, I understand that things cost money, but hundreds of $1,000s being collected every month, I think we can figure that out for one of the most important utilities that we have. So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Enrico from Hammond. I'm talking about the same thing they were talking about. Like, I'm by myself. I don't be home all day. So I get some water bill when I've been getting it for $30-some. Now it jumped to $60. My brother in Ponchatoula, he stay in Ponchatoula. He don't use that much. He say no matter how much water he use, he still pay $40 a month. So, y'all read the same active thing they have in Ponchatoula here in Hammond?
I believe, it depends on where he is in Ponchatoula, but I believe Ponchatoula has a flat rate.
Right by the post office.
Yeah, it's a flat rate.
So do y'all have the same equipment?
If we were to impose a flat rate, our bills would probably be across the board closer to $60. Now, for people who spend more than that, that's a savings, but the majority of our users don't spend anywhere near that. And for our lower income, fixed income residents, you're talking about a bill that could be double what it used to be.
Oh, no.
I was just scared. I was just asking.
My name is Eula Zanders. You're talking about the water bill. My water bill was $29 for 3 months. Then it went up to $49. My meter is not being checked. When I got a $98 water bill, I called City Hall and I asked them to tell me why it was so high. She told me she would call me back that Monday and send somebody out. Nobody never came out. She never called back. So ain't no sense in saying you reread when it ain't never been read.
What's your address, ma'am?
So I call, I need to know what you're gonna do about the water bill I paid. I'm on a fixed income. I can't be paying $98 to $100, $200 a month. That's taken away from my medicine. I have a heart problem, and I'm not gonna miss my medicine to pay a water bill.
If you see a bill that's that high, $100 or even $80, when you're paying a $20 bill, don't pay it. You know it's not right. Let us get back to you. We're not going to shut your water off.
Nobody checked it.
What is your
I
address?
checked it. My grandson checked the meter, and it was covered with mud.
It-
Never been looked at. 1707 Harrow Avenue. So I hope y'all get it straight.
We'll check on that. We'll try to get someone out to do a reread if they haven't already. This proposed amendment would directly benefit a customer like her that is low income, fixed income.
And she said she did take care of her bill.
My
She
name
later
is
did.
Trevor Carter. I have one question before I leave tonight. Is I don't want a credit. I want my money. And I need to know who, what I need to do to talk to. If they promised me within 2 to 3 weeks that I would get my money.
Shalita Moore.
It's been 3 weeks today.
Shalita Moore.
Okay, so I can come to City Hall tomorrow and they'll give me my money.
Well, we need to see what's going on with your bill.
Well,
but
they
yes,
fixed it. I got a credit.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
if you
want
don't
a
want your
credit.
credit, there's no reason why we won't give
I
you.
have a $324 credit. That's too much money for credit. I want a check.
Absolutely.
So Shalita Moore, you said?
Correct.
Okay, well, I'm called to Shalita tomorrow.
I just want to say, Mayor, y'all talking about the water bill. This stuff been going on for a long time. I lived at 809 South Chestnut Street, and I had an issue. They were hating to see me come, oh, here come Miss Jackie. My water bill was maybe $10 or something like that, but the sewage was more than the water bill. And my bill was running like $100-some. And I know I washed my clothes and dry my clothes. I used to hang my clothes up and stuff like that. I didn't have a swimming pool. I wasn't washing no cars or nothing like that. And I think the problem is they need the new meters and different things and stuff like that, because I used to sit on my porch and I see these young guys, they ride around and they just passing the meter up and they in their car, they writing down numbers and stuff like that. It's just, you need to get more older guys. You got some of the young guys, they rise around. And I'm not just talking, I'm not being harsh about it, You done had guys coming in the neighborhood, Grace Quarters, on your clock, on the porch talking. I say, what's up? You supposed to be working. A lot of them guys ride around, riding on the clock. And I ain't talking about what I don't know. I'm seeing that, Mayor. Some of them guys are playing around. A lot of workers you got, they're just riding around in the trucks, not doing their job. And you need to start interviewing your workers and get better workers because they playing with the money.
Hello, my name is Precious Myers. I live at 1213 Phoenix Square. I've been there 5 years. And out of 5 years, my bill was $29. And half the time, I wouldn't even get my bill. They wouldn't even send my bill to my mailbox. So I have, when I come up there, I'm like, how much is my water bill? And they'll tell me. So, but just recently, I had a water bill that happened in December, I want to say 2 months ago maybe, that they told me in November, no one came out. But how would you charge me for a bill and it says no usage? And I'm on a budget. My money is funny. It ain't big like y'all, y'all able to pay $300-400 a water bill. I am not able to. I'm putting that in my budget. And it's like, I went on and paid, when I went up there today, because first of all, they was giving me the runaround telling me, well, we're going to send someone out. I sat at the house, waited and waited, never seen no one. So I'm wondering, is they coming? How do y'all know if the meter reader is coming to the resident's house to read the meter? I mean, because if they're saying in November, no one came out to check my meter, I have zero uses, how can you charge me $73? And no one came out to check the meter. And then you tell me no one came to check it. So how can you tell me my water bill was $73? It ain't nobody but me and my husband and my 4 dogs, which I just put one of my dogs down today. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to understand. I mean, I've been there 5 years. My water bill went number $29. And I mean, I didn't wash my car. I keep my yard up. So I'm like, how is this jumping tremendously? And then you say no one read it, but then you come tell me my water bill is $73. I'm just trying to get an understanding. And I didn't use 113 mail. I wasn't half of November, I wasn't even at home. My mom had surgery, so I wasn't even at the house. But I have cameras, and I never seen no one come and look at the meter. But that's my concerns, because this is the first time I'm like, wow, what's going on? They say, oh, I get a letter saying that y'all finna increase in the sewage and stuff. I'm like, okay, but hey, this is, if you ain't had nobody to read it in November, how can you get a balance? And then half the time, I don't get my water bill. And I live at 1213 Phoenix Square. Thank you.
As we see, and it been stated, Councilman Sam got an issue. Councilwoman Gonzalez got an issue. They issue gonna be fixed. But what about the ones that can't contact the mayor? What about the ones that can't contact Charles? And yeah, y'all keep saying go over there, and you see, you done heard the stories from everybody going over there, trying to get something done. Okay, we're gonna sit there and send somebody else out to read the meter. Nobody go out and reread the meter. So we do have a problem. And back to that young lady, and I can't let it go. She washing a car. She watering the yard. That have nothing to do with the sewer. Nothing. Why are we making people pay for sewer? All the sewer issues we having in District 3. But yet, look like District 3 the one being punished. Almost everybody got up here and talk. They from District 3. You can sit here, and they not gonna tell you. The man was reading the meter, he fired. Yeah, he fired because he wasn't reading no meter. If you had dirt in your meter, he wasn't gonna check it. They not gonna tell you. But the problem is, and I like what you said, ma'am, we elected officials. I've been voting against this every time it came before us. They even put Charles up to tell us a good lie. That if we don't pass this rate for the water the sewer, and the garbage, we're not gonna get the sidewalks in our community. We're not gonna get the drainage in our community. All this was said. I kept voting no, and gonna keep voting no until we come up with a real solution. And I normally don't do this, and I'm gonna say it on the mic. I gave y'all 2 weeks to come up with a solution to solve this problem. And what you did, a lot of talking. We have a problem. It need to be fixed. Don't tell me nothing about the meters this, the meters that.
The flapper.
The flapper, all that there. The light company do not come to your house. When you don't pay the bill, the light company cut it off. The cable company do not come to your house. When you don't pay the cable bill, internet, they cut it off. The gas company, when you don't pay your gas bill, nobody come to your house. Why the hell the city still coming to your house when they come? Miss Jackie said that she ain't lying. They sit there and park, play on their phones, sit on people's porch who they know. Miss Trouble sat there and said it. She stayed down a dead end. Everybody from the city, when they don't want to work, they go park on that end. And you're right, too. They park in Z-Mary Park. So we have an issue. Why is anybody still reading meters in this year, 2026? We got a problem. I have a problem with you charging all this money for the sewer rate that we're not using. And she do have a point. I got fruit trees, I got vegetables, all this in my yard. And she already told me she been start watering her plant, so hers gonna die. And I don't know what to do. Yeah, they're gonna read my meter right, because I'm a city councilman. But guess what? Y'all deserve everything that everybody up here get. And if y'all can't get that, it's something wrong with everybody up here. Need to be replaced. It's a darn shame that it's gonna keep going on, and Charles gonna get these long speeches that getting us nowhere. We have a problem. Should nobody have to pay a $300 water meter, $200 water meter? And y'all sit there make it sound so good, but when you get over there to that office, which y'all ain't nowhere around, Mr. Mayor, shouldn't nobody be asking, well, I need to see the mayor about my water meter. They shouldn't nobody be asking that. Everything should be handled in that office. And if y'all would have done it the right way, train them young ladies, or whoever work over there, you wouldn't have all these issues. But all this lying, it's gonna have to stop. Just tell people the truth. The man who was reading the meters, one of them, he fired. Yeah, but what about the next man they hire? What about the next man? And then this is what they do. And they not telling you all. That's right. But they not telling you all that once you get a credit, that's one time a year. Now, you getting a credit right now for somebody not even reading your meter. What about you have this problem in April? What about when you have this problem in May when you got a $500 water bill and they sit there and say, well, we already gave you a credit. See, we did this in January. See, that's what the mayor and them need to be talking about. This is the issue that we're having, and it need to be solved. Campbell said something. Read the meters. Everybody gonna get a credit or what? My water bill fine. I'm able to pay my water bill. In District 3, I'm gonna say it again. Fixed income, low income, middle income household, but everybody over there is still struggling. That's why I keep voting no on the water, the sewer, the garbage rate, all this stuff. We got to have something. We have to put something on the agenda dealing with the sewer. The sewer is a problem. She got a swimming pool. She shouldn't have to sit here and say, I can't put no water in my pool.
Water in my pool since November when I got my first $165 bill. The pool is desperate for water right now. Thank God for the rain we got this weekend because it's at a reasonable level. Because I am scared to add water to my pool because we're already at $270.
It shouldn't be like that. 2026 and she staying Hammond. We have to do better. And I said this here and I'm gonna keep saying it. And somebody in the audience said it. All of y'all able to pay y'all water bill. The folks out here, some of them struggling. I heard one of them talk about it, my medicine or the water bill. Y'all don't have a heart? That what's going on in D.C., that what's going on at the state capitol. Are we gonna keep being like those people, or are we gonna be better? We got to do better. This the city of Hammond that all us supposed to love. Don't just keep saying and act like it. We got to do better.
Sal Nicolosi, 3607 Highway 190 West, Hammond, Louisiana. I've been listening to people also for the last probably 2 or 3 meetings, and this water and sewage is a problem, but I think at the moment we just need to table what this is. So I'm just asking y'all to table it and let's work something else out with the city. That way, try to please the people here. Thank y'all.
We definitely need to figure out how to read the meters, right, before making any changes. I mean, this goes back way years ago when we got up here. They moved it from paying someone, the company, $75,000 a year to read meters, and it was a problem. They weren't reading them right. Well, it's gotten worse. I wasn't for it back then. I voted no to bring it in-house, but in-house was supposed to make everything go away, and the reader meter was going to be fine. It was going to be improved. We're actually paying more money to have it in-house, and we're not reading them properly. So it's worse service, and we're paying more money. At least before, we were paying them $75,000 a year, which would have been more now because about 4 or 5 years ago. But it was supposed to be bringing them in-house so where we can have our own reader meters and everything else, and everything will be a lot better. I've gotten more calls throughout the years changing over in-house than we did when we had them paying the other company to come out. Not saying they did a perfect job, but it was $75,000 opposed to 5 employees, 5 trucks, 5 liabilities, 5 all, just $36,000 minimum starting salary plus all. So I mean, that's a lot of expenses to still not be able to read the meters right. So that's what we really got to focus on before but this didn't just start tonight. We've been talking about it for months. We got to really figure out how to read meters, then implement improvements. I mean, I just don't understand the improvements. How is it going to get any better if all these rereads?
My name is Brenda Longino once again. My question is, yeah, we got our young people out there, yes. Our older generation, they don't want these jobs anymore. Instead of firing everybody, is y'all training? Y'all giving these people these computers. Everybody's not computer lit. Everybody don't know how to work a computer. They might know how to mash that button and turn it on, but do they really know how to read the meter when they go check the meters? Okay, they pointing down there at the ground, but is they really knowing what they pointing at? Is they really getting the correct feedback in order to send into the office so that the office will know what to charge and how much? Is the people just being hired and put on the streets to go to work? I've been in food service over 40 years, and when I got my first job, I had to be trained. Don't know how to burn up a lot of them people beans. So the same thing is with the water, is we training our young people. Our young people ain't got it all the way right now, and they're going through something. So they need extra training. You gotta invest in the person that you hire. Don't you gonna keep on having all these problems? I haven't heard one person say that we have trained anybody. Nobody said that. Everybody, one person got fired, okay, one person got fired, but they many more behind that one person. So we need training. We need to quit firing everybody, even if they 50, 60 years old, they still don't know. We need to train. We need to revamp the system and go at it from another angle. When I say we, I live in Hammond, so I'm part of Hammond. I'm part of the water system and the sewer system and the garbage system. So we just need to train.
Charles, are y'all training the ones with the new meter digital?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brought up, 'cause even in the school system, we have to go through research on a lot of stuff. When was the last
training?
I don't know the answer, but I wrote that down. That's something we'll be talking to Shalit about tomorrow.
Okay.
My name is Oville Whitaker, and I'm from the other side of the river. I know things what's going on right now that y'all don't know. They got people going on the job, they want more money than what the job costs. And they got people who are very smart, can do the job, but they don't want to give it to them because they got ability to outrun them on their own job. Y'all sitting there talking and not even paying attention to what you're talking about. You're just saying something coming out of your mouth. And I'm watching y'all too. And you too, sir. I'm watching all of y'all. I'm watching y'all every time I come in. I just listen at y'all talk, the way you be looking at one another and moving your head.
No, they be
Y'all ain't
texting.
no better than
They be
nobody
texting
else.
one another. That's what they be doing. They be texting one another when they looking down.
Yeah. The crooked self.
All right. Pleasure of the council on this item. Number 4.
So it's an introduction.
Right.
So we can still talk about it. And there's obviously issues with sewage, but this is at a minimum could save people who don't use 2,000 at least $8, if not more. I don't see why that's a bad thing to continue the discussion. So I'll make a motion to introduce.
$8.
It's something. We can't do
$8.
anything else tonight.
See, when you got plenty of money, $8 don't mean nothing. That's the problem that we're having. I represent a district. I represent people that need help. So I agree with Mr. Sal. We need to do more research on this here. You sit here and introduce it, then what? I'm sitting there telling you what the problem is. I gave the city several weeks to come up with a solution. It's not the solution. Just to see what they was gonna come up with, but you running for mayor, so introduce it.
I'll second.
Councilman Wells.
No.
Councilman Divatario.
I'm going to say no, only because we really need to look at this a little more. It's been going on a while. I didn't really see much about this until tonight, and I definitely want to get this fixed and resolved. But I think we got the bigger problem, and that's management with reading the meters and the process. So we really need to figure that out before we jump to the B. We got a problem A right now, and that's we got to get these meters read. We got to figure out what's going on wrong, and then make adjustments where they need to be made. So I'm saying no because I don't think there was as much planning in this that should have taken place. And it may be great, and I may be for it next time, but at this time I'm not for it. So no.
Councilman Andrews.
Let me ask this question, Charles. With this 2,000-gallon minimum change, what other studies, I'm not going to use the word study, what else did you guys look at besides this 2,000 to do a reduction?
So we're looking at where revenues are coming in right now. It's very early. We only got 3 months of revenue under the new rates system. But the thought is that, if we remove the cap, which we did, on the $40 cap on sewer and start charging people based on what they use, it's fair to remove a minimum that requires people to pay more when they're not using that much water. So again, for users who use 1,000 gallons or less, this could be 20-25% of their bill that they save. It seems fair that you charge people for what they use and only what they use. But currently, we're charging them for more, some users for more than what they're using.
Simply stated, we're charging them for what they use with this.
All right. I vote aye to go ahead and introduce it.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
And Councilman Leon.
There's multiple things that are a challenge with this whole water bill situation. It's not just one thing. I mean, from when you hear the multitude of people from across the city that's having billing issues or meter reader issues, there's a number of things that's going to have to be corrected. But you got to start somewhere. My district, I have a lot of single or elderly people who I know don't use anywhere near 2,000 gallons of water. So this is going to be helpful to them. And again, you got to start somewhere. There's no one quick fix to this. It's going to be like, taking one bite of the elephant at a time. I see this as one piece, but no, this one piece has nothing to do with, in my opinion, with fixing the reading of the meters or the software or the reporting or whatever it is that's taking place, that bills have went from $40 to $300. There's something goofy is happening there, and we all know that. We've been talking about it for months. We just got to figure it out. We just got to figure out what it is. So anyway, so I'm an eye on this because I believe that it helps my constituents no matter where we go.
And yeah, I mean, I do think we need to do something about it, but I mean, I think our problem is we're just throwing something. It sounds good, and it's definitely sounds good to the people, but it's like still deflecting the problem we have of the reading and the management of the system right now, and that's the problem that we're continue to have. I mean, I've heard. I mean, there's one thing I don't forget, and that's numbers. And I'm telling you, when we had this meeting a while back, we were talking about in a group meeting in the budget work session about making a flat billing across the boards where they wouldn't have to read meters. I mean, that's going to break down costs. The city's going to save probably. I'm not saying fire these guys that are working there, but we got all departments that need workers. They could transition to a different department, whatnot, if they want to, whatever. But it would do away with a lot of expensive costs for having to manage all these meter reading it when you do a flat one. And then administration said, it'd be over $75, $79. Now tonight he said around $60. So what I'm saying is, I don't think anybody really looked at it hard enough to figure out what those rates would be. Obviously, if you're calculating all the car washes and all the water into the 7,000, yeah, it's going to skew the numbers. But if you have them separated and have where commercial ones are independently read that have high consumption, but all the other ones, I think, and if there was a way for seniors 55 and up to put application or something to really look at their, if there's one person in there, you could kind of adjust it and still have flat rate me where you don't have to read it. A lot of other municipalities do this, and it works fine for them. So it would do away with all the reread, having the manpower labor going back out there to go reread it and everything else. So there's tons of ways to do this. This sounds good as far as to the eye. Oh yeah, we reduce it. Well, if they can't read it, it don't really matter. So that's what I keep saying. Yes, pay what all these people want to pay what they're using. That's the problem. They're getting all kind of crazy bills, and it's sad to say, but there's probably a good percentage of people out there that aren't calling for rereads, and they're just paying the bill because they don't even feel like bothering with going back and forth. And so to me, that's just it's really not good, and so it adds up. And I mean. That's we got a problem, and like I said, that's what we need to be focused on instead of trying to spend time figuring out what's the problem in house. Go to that office, figure out what's going on over there. We're not making it up, Charles. I mean, these are people that say that. I mean, I experienced it for myself. So this has been going on not tonight, for years. It's been for years. So it's simple. Get an office, figure out what's going on, train these guys, or don't train them. Think about other creative deals. Labor is expensive. Everything's high right now. We got to look at what's smart moving forward and saving money and what makes sense. And it may take a little time for you to figure out the calculation of how much would you actually have to charge flat to actually make sense. But it's going to take more time than just figuring it up on your calculator tonight because we got 7,000 meters. So we really need to look at that. So, but that's what I have to say about it.
Resolution number 1.
A resolution to approve Hammond Sitco located at 1200 South Morrison Boulevard, Hammond, Louisiana 70401, to obtain a permit to sell packaged high-low alcohol. The owner is O.M. Morrison Hammond Oil, LLC. Charles Barsher.
We're asking for the council's approval of this tonight. They've met all of the requirements for the high-low alcohol permit. I believe there's a representative in the audience tonight. Mr. Patel? Is Mr. Patel in the audience?
Must have left.
He has met all the requirements. I'm not sure if he was here and had to leave or...
Well, he's not here, or was he here? Was he ever here? I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay,
Yeah,
we just
why
make,
we vote now?
we just make a motion. It's my dish. I make a motion to table it.
Second.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Excuse me, resolution number 2.
A resolution granting the Hammond Ponchatoula Sunrisers Rotary Club a waiver of open container law for the chili cook-off from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, February 28, 2026. The event will take place in the downtown parking mall and grassy area west of the railroad tracks and bound by West Morris Avenue, South Cage Street, and West Coleman Avenue, and Southwest Railroad Avenue. Nick Gagliano.
Nick Gagliano, Hammond. I'm representing the Hammond Ponchatoula Sunrise Rotary Club. This is our 6th annual chili cook-off. We have it on the 28th of February. As you said, the time's there. We're asking for a waiver on the open container. It's our fundraiser. It's our biggest fundraiser we do every year. The proceeds go to different nonprofits in the area. So we're asking you please to vote yes for this resolution to allow us for this one day. It's really been cold, so it's really not a whole lot of beer sales, but some people like a little beer with their chili, and so we just want to make it beer and chili. So, and please come out. We have somebody, a judge on here. I can't say because we keep all our judges secret, but one of your council members has been a judge for the past years, and I think he can attest to how good the chili is. So please vote yes.
I think you just excluded me from that. since he was-
All right. Anyone from the public on this item? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Everybody wants it approved.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Thanks.
Resolution number 3.
A resolution granting Hammond BBQ or Barbecue, Inc. a waiver of open container law for the Hammond Barbecue Challenge from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday, March 27, 2026, and from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, March 28, 2026. The event will take place within the boundaries of East Robert Street, North Cate Street, East Charles Street, and the railroad tracks, and on railroad property just north of East Robert Street, between North Cate Street and the railroad tracks. Brian Shirey.
Good evening, y'all. Brian Shire coming before y'all since y'all have been on the council. Hammond Barbecue, Inc., 501c3, all volunteer board and labor. The Rotary's on their 6th event. We're on our 22nd event, so we have given over $700,000 to local charities over that time. Actually, that number's a little increased from that. Getting closer to $750,000. All volunteer. Eric Ferris, Hart Bordelon, and myself have managed the event for years. We're transitioning organization of the event to Richard Murphy Hospice Foundation and their group and their board. Hart and Eric and I are still involved, and to maintain to make sure that it stays as it's been a good, successful event for the community. 2-day event, Thursday setup, breakdown by Saturday evening, Sunday completely all the way done. 30 to 40 local teams, 5 to 10 Chicken Little teams. We'll have 10 to 20 craft vendors, live music Friday night and Saturday until the awards at 3. The event, as a reminder, has always been the fourth weekend in March. The money we raise goes to charities through corporate and local team entries and sponsorships, beverage and food and merchandise sales, craft vendor entry fees. We have beverages donated by Walmart and Piggly Wiggly are two real big contributors that help us raise funds for this. The event this year will be the same as we're proposing as it was last year. Traditionally, we had been in the same footprint that Rotary just showed, which is on Railroad, out kind of a Railroad, Coleman, Morris, and that area. We moved it to over where onto Cage Street, Guys Grocery, Lemoyne, over in front of Fifths and down that block, and in those parking malls. It worked real well for us, being on concrete. We wanted to consider moving it back where it was. Logistically, the pavilion may create some challenges with the stage and some different things. So it worked real well. Everyone was real pleased with it was last year, and so we're proposing that we do the same thing this year. In the past, we've had a band after the awards. We're not doing that anymore. So after awards, about 3, 4 o'clock, the event will shut down, hopefully, to encourage people to break down. But then all the visitors that are coming that aren't participating to go spend some money downtown somewhere and allow clear that parking lot for the businesses for their Saturday night business. As always, tremendous gratitude to the city workers, the electricians, the water department. We're not putting a meter out there. They're not reading our meters. But the electricians, the water department, the park folks, and the police department have always been excellent supporters, wonderful ambassadors for the city and for everything that y'all do. So to the administration, to the council, and to previous administrations and council, and to those workers that have been there the whole time, they're really just wonderful and fabulous to work with, and we always get good positive feedback from all the people who come, both in town and from out of town, on how well Hammond's represented as we invite these teams into our town. So that's all I have to say. If you have a question, I put the map, and then there's an extra sheet in your thing that just gives a little kind of a better detail of what we expect how it to be laid out. I'll answer any questions. Otherwise, I'd appreciate your resolution.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Abstain.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you all, and thank you for your service.
Resolution number 4.
A resolution to ratify proposals received in response to RFP 26-13, independent auditing services, and awarding a contract to the lowest responsible prosperer. Carolyn Howard.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. As you can see, this is the resolution to ratify the proposals received into the response to RFP 2613 for the independent auditing services. The city itself issued the RFP in accordance with our procurement procedures. Proposals were evaluated based off of qualifications, experience with municipal audits, staffing capacity and cost, and after our review, the proposer being recommended met all mandatory requirements, demonstrated the ability to perform the scope of work, submitted the lowest cost proposal among the responsive firms. The firm is qualified to perform the city's annual audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and Louisiana legislated auditor requirements, and the proposal is consistent with our current audit needs and timeline. The action to proceed with the audit engagement. So this action will allow us to proceed with the audit engagement so we can remain in compliance with state and reporting deadlines. As you can see who the lowest responsive bidder is. Do y'all have any questions?
Why don't you say it since they're on?
James Lambert Riggs and Associates.
Who been doing it all the while, ma'am? How you doing? I'm sorry.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Who been doing it all the while? Who we been using?
Kushner LeGraze has been our auditor, well, since I've been here, but I mean, I think for about at least 10 years, 4 years, 8 years, I'm not sure, for a while now. So we're making a change. Through Mason Foster. So this is a the change of firms.
Yeah, well. Oh, no, I don't have no problem with it. I just wanted to know. We can't say Mason Foster because, Mayor, you been up here for 11 years, so it ain't no longer Mason Foster, it's you too, so. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else have any questions? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
No, because I don't know how much money the city got or nothing else, so I can't keep voting on stuff and I don't know nothing about it. No.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
And Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Resolution number 5.
A resolution authorizing the purchase of 21 bulletproof vests for Hammond police officers from Peretz at a cost of $31,786.23. The purchase will be made using $28,385.36 in bulletproof vest partnership grant funds and $400.87 in the Hammond Police Department funds. Charles Barsher.
The city solicited quotes for new bulletproof vests. The bulletproof vests are not currently under state contract. That state contract expired at the end of last year, so we solicited quotes this time. Peretz was the lowest responsive quote. They're actually honoring the old state contract price, so we're recommending approval of their quote in the amount of $31,786.23. We have approximately $28,000 in grant monies, and the police department will come up with the difference to purchase the vests.
Anyone from the public on this item? Anyone from the council? Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
And Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Reports, Mayor?
As everyone knows, City of Hammond was very fortunate with the storm that's come through. It's been very cold. You need to watch what you're doing in your houses, keep your heat on, and be aware of heaters and things that may start fires, the electric heaters. But as far as the city is concerned, the roads were fine, the bridges were fine. We didn't have any calls on trees with ice. And so I don't know what will happen this weekend, but please be prepared. And we're prepared to go out when needed.
Any council reports?
Yeah, I got some. All right. I want to say I'm glad to see, I'm going to start off with the compliment. I'm glad to see the department heads that were presenting some topics on the agenda here tonight. Any questions that would have needed to be answered, they're there. So used to be like that originally, but then they stopped. But I'm glad to see they made improvement, and saw the planner here tonight, saw the accountant here tonight. So I'm glad to see that. So now, other issues here. I'll get to the small ones, the potholes. Sending a ticket for potholes. Villa West, we need to do a pass through Villa West, checking the potholes. I put one in on Rue St. Martin, and it hadn't been done yet. So when you go through there, just check on all those in Villa West, because I'm sure there are several other ones that may be driven across going to the other one. So that's that. Let's see, trees. My district, we had issues in this storm that just passed. Westdale subdivision seems to be a continuous issue over there, no matter if it's weather or bad weather or not. A lot of it has to do with vegetation around the power lines. Energy did do work hard to get them done. I appreciate that. They got them done, put them back up, but tree fell on one. A rotted pole on a, down a little bit would broke and made it delay some more. So that area was out probably, almost 24 hours during the cold. So I would like for the administration maybe to look at some of those lines in that subdivision to make sure if there's any vegetation that can be either reported to energy, or if some may be city trees that can be trimmed or cut or whatnot, just to prevent future storm outages caused by maintenance. That's something I've been pushing for since I've been up here with vegetation and trees along utility lines. Let's see, potholes, I said, okay. Let's see, I wanted a flood study. Well, how are we doing with the flood study right now? I think we should be coming upon our end of our second phase. Are we getting close to getting some results from that?
As I mentioned before, I got an update from the firm about 2 weeks ago. You may have actually stepped away when I was discussing this.
Maybe
earlier.
so.
What I said earlier was that I got an update about 2 weeks ago. They had initially submitted to FEMA. FEMA asked for some clarification, some additional information. That gave them an opportunity to actually include the area in West Hammond that you had requested. And also in responding, they realized there were some additional areas around Yellowwater River Road, that area, in Southwest Hammond. So there's now actually 3 different FEMA insurance rate maps that would be impacted. They're expecting that all of that new information will be submitted to FEMA by March. And then we'll have FEMA again review it and then get back with us. We're hoping that this next review will be, there are less questions, less feedback that FEMA will have, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something about new flood insurance rate maps.
Okay, good. I missed that, so good. I'm glad to hear it's moving forward and getting closer. All right, let's see. Yeah, and then now another issue that I have that's really another issue with management here is, you know, I'm gonna start off with, you know, the Daily Bread has a good cause, you know, and I support them and their group serving the public, helping them out in need. That is great, and everybody is very thankful for them. The problem I have here is that you know, it went on for years on Coleman Street. The lines parked all over the sidewalks, the road, went on for a long time. School there, you know, churches, and it was such a public safety issue there with people trying to get around or not. And eventually I figured it was going to work itself out. You know, I'm not the only one that drives there. There's a lot of higher up people than me in this government agencies that would see that as a problem. You know, it seemed like it never got continued to get worse. Part of all the sidewalks, messing everything up. And then signs, you know, they had an AC company, invest a lot of money in the business. On the corner, signs, don't park in the driveway, all this stuff. They pretty much got ran out. They sold and sent it to somebody else, and they moved in there. So I watched all this, you know, and so I'd imagine eventually would have fixed and worked itself out. Then talks came about, you know, going ahead and moving it into, you know, J.W. Davis. I was like, you know, along with the rest of the council that was in here. I think that's in Councilman maybe Wells' district. You know, we all stated, you know, that's not a good idea either. That's a narrow road. It's not going to work. That should be worse, you know. And then it was you know, the city brought to us when there's so many infrastructure improvements that we have in the city that by taxpayer needing to get done, brought to us that, you know, let's go spend $500,000 on a turning lane on Coleman Street for this organization, which I did not agree with that because I didn't think that was really the best way to approach that. And it didn't pass, but now they, you know, somehow they moved it to Edwin Neal, which I've got, you know, people, yeah, Edwin Neal's even narrower road, and this is all, you know, public safety. So now they're not parking on the sidewalks; they're parking on just city roads, staying down there on Edwin Neal. We tried this October. Met with Andre, had a meeting with Andre, had a meeting with Councilman Kip. And it was a successful meeting. We called the Daily Bread. We had everything, had a good meeting. Andre realized there was a problem. He went and looked at it, sent pictures. There's accidents, everything else. Sent to him, talked to him. Everything went well, you know. Had Charles involved in it. They were going to, you know, we were given plenty of time. They came to a resolution. Everybody's resolution from day one is always, everybody, no matter who you talk to, oh, put it in Z-Mary, put it in Z-Mary. I said, Councilman Kip, that's a great idea. Put it in Z-Mary. I'm like, you know, I mean, I think it's great, you know. Andre, as a city attorney, had no issues with that. He thought that would be a good idea. Charles came up with 10 different ways of routes. I said, Charles, I don't care what route you do, how you do it. You could pick whatever you want to do as long as it's off the public safety roads and servitudes, city servitudes that are laws. You just don't park on roads. So, we're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. Then we were going to, okay, the first of the year. Councilman Kipp, was that discussed that they were going to implement something in January? Or did I miss?
No, that was the target date was getting. Actually, we thought it was going to be before that, but the agreed upon after that was to be at the first of the year that they would start that new route there, and
I think you actually asked the administration to have it done before the end of the year.
Yeah, I did.
And they couldn't. Well, we started this in October, and everybody was on board. We all try to work with them, and then so follow up. Now they're saying, oh, they're not going to move it. It's fine where it's at. Now, we got calls of, people parked in line, urinating while they're waiting in the line. They got music playing loud sometimes, some of them whatnot. You got actually some of them parking their car, leaving it parked in the road and going up to the front of the line or whatever. I don't know, maybe they know somebody or whatever, leaving in the line. So if there was ever a fire truck or ever a ambulance or somebody had some, it's a disaster over there. And so we have a very easy solution to put in Z Mary and let it go off where it's off the road and then communicating and get to the daily bread. And it was all discussed. And so then I get this letter from Charles saying how everything's wonderful and dandy and there's no issues over there, and he drove by and looked at it. Charles, where do you live?
I live in Tickfaw.
Okay. Tickfaw. Live in Hammond. I live in Hammond, live right there by the area. I see it. I get the phone calls that come to me from the residents and everybody over there. Maybe they don't call Charles, but they sure know who I am. So anyway, one letter right here. Dear Sam, I want to read this because I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of this and how easy this solution could be. Dear Sam, I'm writing you to as a neighbor and a fellow Hammond resident with my concerns regarding the recent move to line up the cars waiting for our Daily Bread Food Bank and to Edwin Neal Way. Since the change, I have had to spend close to $5,000 to put up a wooden fence so that I can continue to utilize my yard without an audience staring directly into my yard, several hours a day, up to 3 times a week. I have been disturbed by the level of noise from both music and those waiting in the line talking loudly. I have witnessed on countless occasions cars utilizing my property and others to turn around instead of going to the corner to do so. They are pulling onto our lawns and turning around and utilizing people's gravel driveways and putting wear and tear on them, which will ultimately cost the homeowner money over time. I have neighbors that can no longer get in and out of their driveways freely because of cars blocking them. The streets are partially blocked, and it makes it difficult for cars to come down in it freely. In the event of an emergency, it could potentially delay life-saving treatments to myself or other neighbors. I would like to request that Z Mary Park be utilized as a waiting place or distribution location going forward as to not overburden the neighborhood directly around the food bank. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration. So what I'm getting at is we have a problem. Andre, you're the city attorney. There are laws that are not being followed. You can't park on roads. If I'm not aware of that, if you can, please tell me that you can park on roads and leave your cars there as much as you want. It's a parking lot. Is that a law or not?
You can't park on your road.
Okay. I just want to make it very clear. So I don't know if what's going on here, but there's an easy solution to put it in the park. We had 50, you done made it so complicated with the routes, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 ones. I said, Charles, pick one. Don't really care, whatever works for you. We got recycle going on in the park. I said, just use the same route. The city workers are familiar with that or whatnot. Use a recycling route. I didn't even know they had a recycling route in there. Councilman Wells told me about it. I said, well, that's fine. Make it easy. So you don't live over there. I hear the calls. Just like you probably don't see the accidents on Morris on the Highway 190 in South Linden Street daily. No improvements on there. Not daily, but it's very, very, very regularly. And I had that discussion with the city a while back. I live right there. I see it. So what I'm getting at is we had a solution. I don't know if we have to hire an attorney that can handle it, Andre, or you, but this needs to be fixed. The laws need to be broken. So Are y'all not following the laws and going to enforce the laws on public roads for public safety and allowing this throughout the city? Or y'all want to enforce the laws that are on the books? That's all I want to enforce, and work with them and have a possible solution that works for everybody in the park. We have a $300,000 parking lot, but a $2 million pool that is not being utilized as well. I walk in there all the time. The parking lot's empty. They can all park on that parking lot, and then when it's ready to food, roll out. It's pretty much a restaurant. I don't know of any restaurant that can get approved for a restaurant with no ample and the right amount of parking to supply the people. It's like McDonald's. McDonald's can't just put them with no parking. They got to get them off the road. So what I'm saying is, it's a problem. It needs to be fixed, and we have a solution. And Councilman Kip, we met and we spent this time. We did this in meetings to try to have it worked out and move forward. And it still is on standstill.
Get in the mic, Mr. Matt, I can't hear you.
Fire department said that it was working. But now what you're saying is parking on the street is illegal. We can cut that to the chase quickly.
Let me just say this, it's the same issue with schools. It's the same issue with people, picking up schools.
I don't care, Andre. It's a law's a law. And at next meeting, Kip, you put on if we cannot get this straight, we can hire an attorney of professional service. I'm tired of getting the calls. I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm tired of the driveways by. I'm tired of it. Just because you have a good call doesn't mean you do whatever you want. I'm very supportive of what they're doing, but it's an easy solution to fix. There's no way it's safe to have one lane on a 20-foot road, the narrowest one, the narrowest road in the city of Hammond, to have that. This is too simple, and this explains to me why we can't read water meters. Because this is too simple to fix. Too simple.
So I'd like to respond. At that meeting back in October, August, whenever it was, where we discussed potentially routing traffic through Zumeri Park, I was consistent since then that I had concerns about routing traffic through a public park around spaces where there are kids, where there are seniors. It's not a traffic circle, it's a public park. During the summer, the pool is in use. The ball fields are in use. We have a relationship with Chapapilla Sports Park where they're doing sports programming out of Z. Murray Park. We have playgrounds, we have dog parks. But it's not my decision. I talked with our police chief, I talked with our fire chief, I talked with our street superintendent. Our street superintendent told me that this route on Edwin O'Neill Way is working. That there may have been a rough patch in the beginning, but it's working. I personally went out there and observed the route, and what I saw were people lined up calmly, orderly, not blocking driveways, not blocking intersections. I did not observe a lot of traffic heading eastbound on Edwin O'Neill Way. If I had needed to, I could have.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back and forth about this. There's a problem on it. There is a problem. You don't have to block a driveway. The driveway may be clear, but if you're parking right on each side of it and it's not there's probably a legal space actually that you have to clear that driveway. If they're parked up to it, you're not able to see around the driveway coming in and out, and it's going to cause an accident from somebody flying around the other side. So there is no reason to go back and forth over an illegal. You cannot park on the road. I cannot. Can anybody just park on the road in this audience and just leave their car there? I mean, it's illegal. Just enforce rules, and there's options. And it's sad to say that the law enforcement is saying there's no problem.
I think the bigger issue here, what is being overlooked, nobody never disputed anything that Daily Bread was doing. It's a great cause. It's needed. But it's affecting the people that live on that street. It's affecting their livelihood. It's affecting them getting in and out of their homes. That's the problem. And as I stated, even with when it was over there off of Coleman Street, over there by the school, you're looking at all other kind of issues that you could play into as well. But it seems like this it's getting worse. And it was amazing to me, and I'll just say it like this: when I got the email the other day, I was like, "Wow!" I thought this was resolved and it was happening, but this got thrown in there. It seemed like to me that could have been stated a long while back if that was going to be an issue coming from the fire department and the police department. But something is going to have to be done. It's no other way around it. You know, I'm just stating it. You know, I wouldn't want to see that in front of my house every day. You know, and again, nobody's knocking them because it's a good cause, but we're looking at safety here. And that should be the main concern on both sides of the table.
Councilman DiVittorio, if you have other letters like the one that you read into the record tonight, if you have that letter, I would encourage you to furnish those to the Streets Department. One of the things I specifically asked was, have there been any complaints about this route? And the response that I received was, no, there have not been complaints. There certainly were complaints when it was on Coleman, but if you're receiving complaints, those complaints are not getting to the Streets Department. So if you would forward those to me so I can put those in the hands of the Streets
I'm
Department.
gonna repeat it again, just like the water department. It's the same, it's all departments. It's the city, I mean, the street department, I gotta call them 20 times for a pothole that they drive right across. They all have cars, they drive right across the pothole, and you gotta be called to put a work order in. Open your eyes, look, fill the hole in, keep rolling. I mean, there's a problem. You know, it's there. We got pictures. Me and Andre, I sent Andre the pictures. He went and drove there. Andre, I want to make sure I'm not losing my mind. Did you not look and said that you saw there was a problem whenever you went when we had that meeting?
It's a problem.
Okay, just want to make sure. I appreciate that, Andre. I do as a city attorney, and I think Andre's a city attorney, Charles, and I think you don't know where your place is. You're an administrator. You're there. You're supposed to work for the council in the city. Therefore, you need to figure out how to get it done, or maybe, you know, that role needs to be back in the grant department. We have to get this fixed because it should already been fixed. And every time they want to say, oh, you need to work with administration. You want to work with administration. We try. We had meetings since October. It was all worked out. Fix the situation. They all answer to the mayor. So all the department heads serve at the mayor's pleasure. So just fix it. Get it done. I mean, it's public safety. That's it. It's simple. Public safety. Would you want anybody to get hurt that cannot get to a house with an ambulance or anything like that? Would you want your mom somewhere that they couldn't get to because they couldn't get across the road or slowed them down 5 minutes or actually got in an accident when it could be avoided? Would you want that?
Of course not.
Talk in the mic, Mr. Mayor, please. Mr. Mayor, what you think about it? Talk in the mic, please, because I'm talking about people keep telling me we don't hear nothing the mayor's saying.
We have two options that was at the end, and that was Zoo Marion and where it is now. The only reason why it stayed where it was because we heard there was not an issue, apparently. Be back in Zumari. What I want to know from Andre is what are we going to do about the schools?
We need to talk about that, too.
Okay, so just ask this here question here. Mr. Charles, where you say you stay?
I live in Tickfaw.
You stay in Tickfaw, okay. Mr. Sam shouldn't have to turn in every letter when people have an issue. I got Mr. Sam sitting right back there in District 3. I'd have met with the school board representative in my area. I'd have met with the principal I call it Hammond Junior High. I'd have met with them. And they working on getting those cars off the street. And you know what they told me? Why are you telling us this when ain't nobody saying nothing about the food bank? We done had 1,000 problems with the food bank. Nobody knocking the food bank. Only thing I'm saying is that we can do recycling in Z-Mary. We could do a fireworks show in Z-Mary. We could do a baseball game in Z-Mary. A public facility, a public park. Kipnum do food drives in Martin Luther King Park all the time, huh? Yeah. No problem. You keep figuring out it's a problem, bring some of the food to Mooney Park. Bring some of the food to Lincoln Park. Bring some of the food to Clark Park. Quit coming up here and giving all this a long story. Long speech getting nowhere. Stop. You got a solution. You know, the same way y'all do the recycling. If the police department had a problem, why they ain't said nothing about the recycling? If the fire department had a problem, why they ain't saying nothing about the recycling? Why they ain't saying nothing about the fireworks? Quit creating a bunch of words that means nothing. I'm not gonna sit up here this year and put up with none of it.
Nope.
State the fact, state the truth, and move on. It's a problem. We've been having problems. Numerous are wrecked. Greenfield, let them park over there. Greenfield don't want them parking. The church got a problem. Yeah. Everybody in the district got a problem. It's affecting 3 districts. It's a problem. We shouldn't even be bringing this up. Y'all had opportunity to talk about it in a private meeting. I thought y'all had the problem solved. Well, we need to bring District 3 out here and let them tell you every issue they have. Hell, go to the police department and ask them how many wrecks that them been over there. And what you don't understand, and this is where y'all lost that, a near miss. You know what a near miss is? Something that could have happened, but it was a miss. Anytime you have this, you can solve this. Z-Mary is the perfect place. Make it convenient for all the people. I thought I was going to get y'all to do it. If you go over to Covington had a food bank in the community that was disturbing everybody in the community. You know what they had to do? They had to move it. No problem at all. When it first got there, they didn't have that many people coming. As it stayed there, it got larger and larger. So we have a problem. We have a problem. No, you don't have a problem. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we have in Hammond now. Who stay in Hammond actually work for the city. They don't know our problems because they don't stay here. So we need to do something. Yeah, I talked to Councilman Sam. He said, well, they told me they're going to be moved by January. Well, January up. February right around the corner. That's why I wanted what Mr. Mayor had to say about it. You know, you done got all these department heads involved, but were those department heads involved when they put it there? See, that's what we have to look at. Whenever you start something, it don't have a lot, but now it's a problem for everybody. I don't even go down Coleman Street no more. I don't go down Edward Neal's. I try to remember what day, Tuesday, Thursday,
Saturday sometime.
Yeah, I try to remember what days not to travel down those streets. Whoever made that decision, they got to be slow, because that was a bad decision. Fastenal, I done talked to the people at the company. I talked to the air conditioning company. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. So we shouldn't have to tell you every night. They got 1,000 more people. They got water bill issues. Hell, they would have filled this chamber up if I'd have told everybody to come out. But I knew it didn't make sense for everybody to come. Just the few y'all had, y'all still ain't come up with a solution on how to do those meters. We got a problem. We can't keep doing this stuff over and over again. That's not the city problem. The problem already solved. What they do to recycling it?
It's too easy to fix, and it should have been fixed. And we tried to not have a long meeting like this. And we went and met with Andre, with Kip, everybody, the president. And it should have been done. But some reason, you just couldn't get it done. And make an excuse, and that's here we are right now tonight on it. It's too easy. It's right in front of you. Anybody you tell, they say put in Z-Mary, put in Z-Mary. It's a public park. The end of the story. Hand out food is a public park. Put it in there. That's where it needs to go. It's simple. It's such a simple fix that we sit in here. The first choice and option where it should have been is the last. Out of all the options, is the last. That should have been the first, and we wouldn't even been here. But here we are again. Get it in place. And get it off the city public road, quit breaking the law, quit not enforcing the law, get it in the park or off the streets, off the sidewalks, off of city servitudes, off of blind sides, off of intersections, anything that could be a public nuisance, get it out and put it in there.
You definitely got to get off the sidewalk, because, you know, the chief beat somebody from parking on the sidewalk, so we darn sure don't want nobody on the sidewalk.
And what are we doing with this? Because I need to know, because if not, we're going to put it on an agenda. I'm going to put it on an agenda to hire an attorney, whatever, but there's going to be litigation in this because I am not dealing with this anymore. So, Andre, is there a way you can figure this out with the administration and get them to have this off the side, off the city streets and the law enforced?
Sure, I'm happy to meet. It's going to be, I think we should meet with Our Daily Bread. I think
We did this already, and they were on board. Am I not right? You told me that they were on board with what it was, and y'all had a plan.
They were open to whatever suggestion the city recommended for the traffic control.
It was open and closed and done then, and that was it.
Mayor, I like to say, it is a problem. Everything Mr. Sam said.
Talking to Mike, ma'am. Talking to Mike.
It is a problem. Everything Mr. Sam said is true. For us, they out of their cars, loud music, they blocking the people driveway. The other day, Mr. Sam, I always coming through there. He came through there, he seen me. The man had hit my truck. Mr. Sam said, Jackie, you can't block the driveway. I said, no, sir. I said, this man hit my truck. He was arguing with me and stuff. I said, sir, you're an older man. I said, I just want to see, is my truck messed up? I called the police. The police came out there. We talked about it. I said, sir, you could just go ahead. I don't see no damage. But for as the giving the food away, it's a good thing. Giving the food away, because I go there on Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturday, getting for people who don't have food. But since they've been giving that food away through the years, they always have problems. Everywhere they go, they have problems. They blocking, like they was a cold one, blocking people trying to pass, they can't pass, like accident, the police steady coming. So, Mayor, I think we need to try to find a place for, to give out the food, because they have a lot of older people come there, to get food because they need food and stuff like that. And I think that Z-Mary would be a good place to, serve the food, because like they have the big open by the pool. They could, place their orders through there and just ride around, because like Mr. Sam said, it is a problem. These people come out. I seen one man come out with his dog. He's standing up there like, what is these people on the street for? They can't even get out their driveway because it's a main street and you blocking their driveway. People get sick and stuff like that. You cannot, so they made that decision. That's very out of order, because they was on Coleman, now they're on the back street. Put it somewhere else. Just put it somewhere else, because people need food.
Too easy fix. Fix it.
Finish, Mr. Sam.
I'm good now. I'm good.
My council report, the water bill. I don't have to say nothing else, the water bill.
Any other reports? All right. Friday, I sent you guys the end of the year budget report by email, so you received that. If you did not receive it, please let me know, and we'll make sure we get it back out to you. That's the only report that I had. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Meeting adjourned.